This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
Rooker, it's a fly ball to deep center. Robert going back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Adolis Garcia sends one the other way. That sends Carroll back. He's at the wall. And the legend grows. Ronald Acuna, another milestone in a truly historic season.
Boyle with an absolute nuke out to left field.
It's Glaber Day. And like a good Glaber, Torres is there.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe. From humidors to Stuff Plus to walk-off dingers, we have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
I gotta tell you, it is so nice to be in August and really excited about doing a show today, where we're not sitting here before the show going, what the heck are we going to talk about? How are we going to manufacture some topics to bring? What are we going to be talking about, with other teams? Because can't talk about the A's. That's not the case. I'm excited for this week's shows. I'm excited for the next homestand. I stand corrected. I think I said on Sunday in the Clubhouse show, 2 homestands left. There's 3 homestands left. But we're going to have Saturday, we're going to have the Hall of Fame inductions. I'm going to be stepping in for Ken Korak, being your MC on the field or whatever you call that role.
Master of Ceremonies.
Master of Ceremonies. I'm excited about that. A little nervous. Never done that before. 31,000 are expected.
You're a pro's pro. You'll be fine.
Well, I mean, I just got to go. Ricky Henderson, Dave Stewart, let them all come out. And then all right. Well, I'm introducing the people going into the Hall of Fame.
Should be a great time. And who cares about the Giants? But we can see Bo Mel. There's that.
How about the Giants and the Braves last night?
Oh, hey.
Huh?
Hey, I texted you last night. Everyone's like, Blake Snell, how great he was. Chris Sale is better. But Blake Snell, since that no-hitter, 6 and dive each time.
Uh-huh.
Stop talking to me about pitching deep.
What happened in that game?
I believe it was a Braves 1-0 win in 10.
Uh-huh. 0 after 0 after 0. We've got great A stuff to talk about, but then there's so much stuff going on in baseball that is just like the A's now really kind of playing a factor in what's going on, because the Mets had a okay 10-game road trip on the West Coast, but stunk it up in Seattle. They scored 1 run in 3 games, but they're right in this thing. Like, you start looking at the Mets and the Braves. Can't wait to talk to Jim Duquette. Once again, you did an outstanding job, Cody. Guest list is great. Our buddy Jim Duquette, longtime GM, Sirius XM, also does SNY, does a bunch of stuff for the Mets pre and post. Jim Duquette will be here later on today at 2:30. Johnny D at 1:15 for hot takes. I love my hot take today.
I think we all have decent ones. Well, I know what mine is. I've used mine on you before, but we'll see if you remember.
Okay.
Just to you, never to Johnny. Rays is pretty interesting. His has something to do with the Mets and A's. Mets and A's series.
Ooh, so it's not a futures.
Nope. It's a this series hot take.
So is Johnny going to give it in 10 years?
Well, mine was Blake Snell.
Jacob Wilson in 10 years. Are we going to have something that's modern? Well, it will be a modern take.
But, bro, the A's will win more games this year than they did last year.
Okay. Lou Temple, actor, and you got to believe is his movie coming out, right?
Yeah, it's about a 2002 Little League World Series team that went on a magical run into the Little League World Series. So Lou's going to be on. He's good friends with Vince Cotroneo. Vince approached me a couple months ago about having Lou on, and then he told me what movies Lou's been in. Unstoppable with Denzel Washington. If you're in a movie with Denzel Washington, you're kind of a big deal. So the movie,
no question.
He was also in The Walking Dead. If you watch The Walking Dead, he's been in a lot of stuff. So it'll be interesting to have him on. And he used to work in baseball. He used to be working the minor league operations for the Astros until like 93. So he started out as a baseball guy. Now he's an actor and a cancer survivor.
Did he start cheating with the Astros in 93?
Whoa.
I want to know.
Hey, he might have known Biggio, Bagwell.
I want to know. When did they start cheating? Was it 93? 93, were they still in the West, or were they an NL Central team at that point?
We're going to look.
They were National League.
Well, they were managed that year by the great Art Howe, and they were in the NL West still.
They're still in the NL West.
They were 85 and 77.
That's when it all started. Art Howe started all the cheating. All right, that will happen at 1:30. Then Adnan Virk from MLB Network. I mean, you've seen him doing stuff on ESPN for all these years. He'll be here at 2 o'clock. Are we having him on camera?
Yes. Sent him the email earlier.
Love it. Absolutely love it. You start looking at the standings. So right now the Braves have a 1-game lead over the Mets for the last wild card. So the Bay Area teams are playing a big role. Right now the Giants are 2.5 games back. The story really is in baseball right now, the NL West. Dodgers have won 7 of 9.
Big sweep over the Pirates, then big one last night.
Mookie Betts back, goes yard. Kershaw goes 6. Everybody, oh my God, the Dodgers are in trouble. They've won 7 of 9. Padres beat your Buccos last night in a close one.
Their season's over. They've
won 17 of 20. And the Diamondbacks, my Snakes. Oh, you know what? Remind me. My buddies from San Diego are very upset after I went with the Bryce Harper clown take in a text thread.
It's a clown question, bro.
And it really just goes to show how we in our own markets we're in our own world. We're truly in our own worlds, right? Bay Area, we're in our own world. And you don't really pay attention to everything. And I really understood that working in sports radio, having worked, now that we have 2 sports stations, I worked at both, and you realize how many people, they're all in on the Giants, or they all in on the A's, but are they all in on the rest of the 28 teams? And really, I can tell you when I was at KMBR, it's like everybody's into Giants, and then they kind of care about the Dodgers, and everybody kind of, And I'm sure much hasn't changed. So they really don't follow the sport. There's the one sport everybody follows because of fantasy and gambling is
the NFL, the National Football League.
Because, people don't follow baseball and the NBA and hockey like they do the NFL. It's just a reality. So I have to give you a story as my own childhood friends turned on me just to show you and the proof that, we do live in our own bubble. But yeah, the D-backs, my Snakes, as I said last year, mark the tape, rewind the tape. They were my team to watch out for last year in the National League. Up and down year, had the hot year, then kind of failed, and then kind of played well again and limped to 84 wins, got in, went to the World Series. Loved them again this year. Got off to a bad start. Since June 1st, nobody in baseball has a better record than the Arizona Diamondbacks. And so right now, the West is really the hottest story in our game. Dodgers lead by 3.5 over the Diamondbacks and the Padres, and it is a sprint to the finish line. But no matter what, right now, number 1 and 2 in the wild card race with the same record at 67 and 53 are Arizona and San Diego. Wait a minute, I thought the East was so great. Look out for the Central. You tried to sell me on Cincinnati. You tried to sell me on Pittsburgh. St. Louis, Ollie Marmol. What a great leader he is. Not Marmol, I should say. What did I say, Marmol?
Yeah.
As soon as I said, that's not right. The West is dominant. When you look at, you go to the American League West, Space City is on fire right now.
Yeah, they have the longest winning streak in baseball. I think it's 6 games for Houston.
Drives me nuts.
Seattle's won 4 in a row. But the thing with Arizona, too, that no one's really talking about probably besides us, especially in this market. All their pitchers are healthy. Merrill Kelly's back.
Did you see Fott? Fott's got like X amount of games of going at least 7 innings.
Yeah. I mean,
Brandon Fott now, like their pitching is up and down. Merrill Kelly's back.
Kelly's back. Erod's back.
Look out for the – remember when we laughed at the Snakes a little bit at spring training? We were down there in Arizona. I think Johnny D was just telling us how bad our takes were. We're like, hey, listen, Arizona, settle down. You should be the favorite. You had a nice little run. We've seen it the last couple of years, right? Arizona, San Diego did it. But the Dodgers are still king. You're not the favorites. Well, all of a sudden, Arizona's starting to back up their talk, like their belief in themselves. I got it right here. Ever since we had Torey Lovullo, you probably won't be able to see this.
Probably not, no.
But his 4 pillars, I wrote it on the back of the Swingin' A's things. I had nothing. You can't see it. But we're doing an interview with Torey Lovullo, the former A manager of the D-backs. I had nothing to write on, and he was doing his – I'm like, what? I've heard about his 4 pillars. So I picked this up, and I wrote them down on the back of the Swingin' A's things. I'll keep this thing forever. Why not? Love, trust, commitment, and effort. Wrote it down right in the back. Look out for the Snakes. Best record in baseball since June 1st by a lot. They are hot. It's hot in the Valley of the Sun, and been watching some of their games. And
if only they can figure out their closer situation. Seawald hasn't been great. But.
Oh, wait, you traded for AJ Puck? Heated conversation on the golf course yesterday. Me and the super scout, Shooty Babbitt. I have a present for you. Should I give it to you now before I go to Johnny?
Let's wait. Let's get Johnny on. He's been patiently waiting.
No. We get. He's 1:15. Oh, he has to get ready for the broadcast in 3 hours. What, he's got to do the lineup?
I see him smiling in the green room.
All right. Shooty Babbitt, super scout, TV extraordinaire. Shooty Babbitt wanted me to give you a present.
Well, what is it?
I have it in my hand. Shooty said, give this to Cody.
Should I close my eyes?
Kind of like Elvis giving you a scarf. I'm just trying to think of like entertainers who would give some, like Jeter's gift basket. Right? Remember the famous gift basket?
Bret Hart's sunglasses.
Bret Hart gives you some a ripped shirt from Hulk Hogan. Right?
Cody Rhodes' weight belt now.
Shooty Babbitt gave me this to give you. A Titleist golf ball with Shooty Babbitt's name on it. That's for you.
Thank you, Shooty. It's like me holding up. I feel like Wilt holding up the 100 sign.
Can you even can they see? Shooty Babbitt is rolling around. Can you see that in the camera?
No, it's too blurry.
Shooty Babbitt is rolling around with golf balls with his own name on it.
That's what we call baller status.
And by the way, if you go play Winty today, the course at Winty Vineyards, which is beautiful. Have you ever been out there, Livermore?
I've been to the winery, yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Greg Norman
does that surprise you that I've been to the winery? My wife loves going there.
Well, I mean, it's for everybody. I know there's people who have if you don't live in that neck of the woods, you may not know, but obviously the Winty brand is famous and their wine is famous, and they've been in that valley, the Livermore Valley, for forever. But, the golf course is awesome. Greg Norman designed it. So if you're going to be out the next couple days,
the Shark
playing the course at Winty Vineyards, I highly recommend it. And you might be finding quite a few Shooty Babbitt balls out there.
Wow. Shots fired.
I'm just saying. He gave one to me to give to you. If you go play Winty Winery, great golf course, look for yellow balls that say Shooty Babbitt because they're all over the joint.
Well, I don't have any other golf balls, so I'll start a collection. So thank you, Shooty.
That's Shooty's gift. And once again, thank you to everybody out at Winty Winery and the course. It's a phenomenal course. All righty. Time for hot takes. Hi, Johnny.
Every once in a while, you hear a really good sports hot take.
I don't think we're seeing Juan Soto for 5-6 guys. I'm predicting we will not see one blazing hot big trade.
Paul Skeens will pitch in the Major League Baseball All-Star Game this season.
The Astros will go 17-8 in the month of June, which will propel them to a top, pretty close to a top of the AL West.
Then you hear some really bad hot takes.
Brent Rooker will win the 2024 home run derby.
I'm calling it now. There will be a collapse in Milwaukee. I'm never going. The Chicago Cubs will catch them.
I'm saying Tyler Anderson will be traded to an AL East contender.
Well, on A's Cast Live, all takes are hot takes. It's time for Hot Takes Tuesday with Chris Townsend, only on A's Cast Live.
I have the hot take of St. Louis this year tracking down Milwaukee. Yeah. I may be back-to-back here. Are the Cubs maybe one of the greatest examples of hedge fund baseball these days? They've got more money. Hedge fund baseball basically is, hey, as long as we're going to spend X amount, no risk, we're making a ton of money. If we get into the postseason, great. Let's make a run. Who knows? But we're not going to – the days of the chips are in and all we care about is a championship, those days are over. It's a hedge fund. You're about making money. Are the Cubs one of the greatest examples? I was talking to Shooty about this yesterday. Like, we were next to them, Johnny, at the winter meetings. Marquee Sports, their television network. They had cameras. They were ready to fire up for 3 days, and they hardly ever fired up. Bellinger's going to sign a big deal. They waited Bellinger out to get him on the cheap. Imanyaga, they got super cheap. Like, here the Cubs are printing money. They're printing money. They're building all around Wrigley Field. They're sold out. They got the TV. They got everything. And let's see. Where are my Chicago Cubs at? Oh, they're 59-61. Are they one of the greatest examples of a cash cow and just like hedge fund baseball?
Yeah, they certainly have been disappointing to a lot of people. And, you thought in that division maybe they'd contend, but yeah, it hasn't worked out for them. They find themselves in a tough spot here. They're 9 back. How far are they out of the wild card?
They're four back.
Okay, that's the one thing about this wild card, man. You get 59.
Everybody's in, man.
Exactly. Right.
So it's like it really. What's cool? I mean, it's killed the trading deadline. But what's cool about it? It's like you can look at the Cincinnati Reds, Ellie De La Cruz. I mean, they go on they're only 4.5. They beat up on your guy Sonny Gray yesterday. Cincinnati. Well, if you reel off like 7, 8 in a row, I mean, you could be in the last spot.
How far since my Pirates hot take, they've lost 8 straight. What's their how far back are they in the wild card?
They're still in it. They're only 6 back.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still. I mean,
they're only 6 games under now, Johnny.
I mean, that's kind of tough, but they're still in it. I mean, like the A's leaving Toronto, you could basically say au revoir.
Oh yeah, no question.
Like if they had any belief in themselves, they're 10 back, it's going to be double digits. I think the Tigers at 9 back, you're pretty much done. But I'll give you another team. The only thing that keeps them from totally being hedge fund baseball is they can claim they've made all these offers. It's the Giants, right? The Giants can say, well, look what we gave Correa. Look what we offered Judge. But in the end, the Giants, the Cubs, there's all these teams that have a ton of money that Seattle, they don't want a lot of risk. All right, Johnny, since you're in – by the way, congratulations, Johnny.
For what?
The fact that you're on one of the greatest road trips in the history of baseball.
Oh, it's amazing. It was unbelievable, Towny, yesterday. I'll give you just a
well, let me set it up for everybody.
Yeah.
You got a day off in Toronto and a day off in New York on the same trip. It's a blessing.
Oh, amazing.
It's somebody else's dime.
An embarrassment of riches. Yeah. There's no question about it. And Towny, yesterday, first of all, got up, Peloton for 20. Then Dallas and I went to the ping pong place, played 13 games of hard-fought ping pong, sweating rockets, just crazy.
What's a ping pong place?
They're owned by some celebrity, but they have there are 3 or 4 ping pong tables, and it's all self-sufficient. credit card and you get half hour on the place. Then you do another half hour, another half
You have
hour.
like a bar there?
No, nope. Just ping pong tables, and it's wild. Nobody's in there. Nobody is in there. You're basically you put your credit card and you play ping pong. It's wild.
Wow.
Can you imagine walking by that window and seeing Johnny and Dallas playing ping pong if you're a New Yorker?
Look at
I'm
those two.
talking sweating rockets. Like it was a great workout. So did that. Then we did 20,000 steps in Central Park. Went to John Lennon. Everywhere in Central Park. Just had a ball. So it was a great day. Great off day.
You go to Tavern on the Green in Central Park?
No. We went with the John's Pizza after and had a nice meal there too. So it was a phenomenal day.
Tavern on the Green, famous in Central Park. Awesome restaurant.
Yeah.
History galore. Tough to get in, but if you can, sometimes you can just sit at the bar. Tavern, I highly recommend in New York, Tavern on the Green. One of these tips. All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm so happy for you guys. To have a day off in New York and Toronto, and like I said, on somebody else's dime, that's a beautiful thing. It's one of the perks, and that's why I hope our players, staff, it's kind of the perks of the hard work and working in this lifestyle where you're away from family, friends, kids. You know, sometimes, because I know a lot of players, a lot of coaches, they'll have wives, girlfriends show up. It's one of the perks of the gig.
No question about it. It was just so much fun. And where we stay is so nice, right down there with all those great places to eat and right by Rockefeller Center. It's really, really, really cool.
Yeah. You get all that, and I get Cody.
Hey, that's still not bad. Look at him. That's not bad.
I mean, he's lost weight.
Yeah,
I'm hitting the weights now, Johnny.
Johnny.
Well, you're in New York. Everyone's Jimmy.
All righty, Woody, we'll let you lead off today because you got to get out of here.
Here's my hot take, and I hope we have, and because it's something you were talking about earlier, but my hot take today, and I've been thinking about it for a little while. I was excited to get to Tuesday. My hot take today is that the Los Angeles Dodgers will not win the Western Division. And you may say, well, that's not that hot of a take. Well,
you wouldn't think that they've won it like 11 out of 12 years. Yes, it is a hot take.
The Padres are going to, not the Diamondbacks, the Padres are going to win the West.
You're going Friars?
Yep, going Friars to win the West. That Mike Shilton Company, they're going to win the National League West. The Dodgers do not. Dodgers get in, obviously, but the Dodgers do not win the division. That's my hot take. August 13th, 2024.
I say that is an extreme hot take. I can tell you, Johnny, Sunday after our game, I made it out to the club to play a few holes. I'm out on the golf course. All my buddies that I grew up with in San Diego, they're all a bunch of Padre homers.
Yeah.
They were making takes at me, and I just started killing them.
You're
Next thing you know, they were calling me a hater. You want me to get you on that text thread? They would love you because they're just drinking the Kool-Aid.
Get me on the thread. Yes.
So you're saying the team in Los Angeles that plays at Chavez Ravine will not win, and the team in San Diego, not the hottest team, the D-backs. You're saying the Friars will win the West. I
am saying that. Yeah, the team in Los Angeles will be a wild card team for the playoffs.
And you are a Dodger fan.
I grew up a Dodger fan for sure, but I grew up 5 minutes from the stadium. So I grew up going to those games, and I love the Dodgers growing up. No question. I mean, this is just a gut feeling that the Dodgers, and it may serve the Dodgers well. Obviously they've won the 2020 season when they won their title, right? They've got all those titles like the Braves, right? But they just, maybe as a wild card, maybe they'll do a little better as a wild card. We'll see.
All right. Can I go?
Yeah.
Because I want Johnny, before we let Johnny, I want Johnny to hear my hot take.
All right. You play it.
Roll the tape.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.
He's had an unbelievable career, Johnny. A lot of people have been calling him a Hall of Famer for years. But the run's over. You got to know when to step away. You got to know when enough's enough just to enjoy the rest of that life. You made enough money. You've won the titles. Go enjoy. Be a consultant. One of these teams that you've helped is going to pay you a lot of money.
Yeah.
And enjoy the rest of your life. You've had an unbelievable career. For a guy who is just a bad backup catcher to what he has done in his career, happy trails, Bruce Bochy. At the end of this year, it is all over.
Okay.
Bruce Bochy will no longer be the manager of the Texas Rangers. Bruce Bochy is going to go into retirement. Well-deserved. He's got the titles. He's got the money. He's going to go into Cooperstown. He'll get the veterans. Who votes managers in? Is it not the Veterans Committee, but whatever committee votes he'll go into the Baseball Hall of Fame. But the Rangers are done.
Yeah.
And it is they've lost 2 in a row. They stunk it up in New York. They lost yesterday in Fenway Park when Fenway Park and Duran, that's a whole mess. But they lose. I don't even know if they win a game here at Fenway Park. I know Corey Seager's going off, but Texas, it is stick the old, what do we say at Arizona State? Fork 'em.
I think that's what it is, yeah.
Fork 'em. Rangers are done. Bruce Bochy at the end of the year will be done. He'll be retired. What a career. But he will no longer be the manager of the Texas Rangers. And we will see a new man at the helm at the end or at the start of next year.
Very realistic take. I think that's a really good take. I think that very much.
No one's talking about it. No one's talking. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. What a run too, right? What a brilliant career he has had. So
he was a backup. Speaking of those Padres, when I was a kid growing up, Terry Kennedy would play Monday through Saturday, and Bruce Bochy was always the Sunday catcher.
Yeah, that's wild.
So I'll give you Ray's real quick. Ray said that the apple will not come out at all this series. The New York Mets will not hit a home run against the A's at Citi Field. This is a Mets guy saying that the Mets will not hit a home run. So, Johnny, write that down.
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that because on my sheet, I see that Lindor hasn't hit one since July 12th. Nimmo has gone 96 at bats without a home run. So that's a pretty decent take. We'll see. I mean, those guys are due, but I like that take. I hope he's right.
Well, I mean, seriously, they scored 1 run in, 2 games? The
Three
last
games.
2 games?
3 games.
They scored 1 run?
Yep.
Seattle's pitching. You know what?
Yeah.
It kind of makes you feel good. There's still something that's called pitching in baseball.
Yes.
And Seattle is one of the teams that's it. Arizona is one of the teams that's doing it.
All right, John, I'll give you mine because I know you got to go.
What do you got?
The Marlins the other day let go of a lot of guys, a couple assistant GMs, a couple people in the front
2
office
assistant,
staff.
yeah, because that's the problem, Johnny. It's the nerds. We need to get new nerds.
Skip Schumacher rumored to maybe be the next manager of the Chicago White Sox because it will not be Grady Sizemore. Congratulations.
You are not going here. No, you're not.
Congratulations on your first win against the Yankees, Grady Sizemore.
You are not going with this.
The manager of the Miami Marlins in 2025 will be Giants legend Gabe Kapler.
You did. You went there.
Wow.
That's Marlins assistant GM, Gabe Kapler, who kept his job, and now he will be the Marlins manager next year.
All right, behind the scenes, he brought this up as a joke, and he told me today my hot take. He goes, "You've heard it." All right.
I'm writing that down. I'm going to write it. I'm going to
mark the date. It's August 13th.
Oh, I know the date. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Commander. That is blazing hot.
Is that hotter than my Brent Rooker will win the home run derby take?
Yeah, I think it's right up there with it for sure. Yeah.
You can crush me for this one. You can't crush me for saying Rooker will win the home run derby. So, all right.
I like it, guys. I like our takes.
Some hot takes today. I like it.
Yeah, for sure.
You're really going to go with old Cappy coming back, getting his 3rd opportunity to be a manager in Major League Baseball.
Well, clearly wasn't his fault in San Francisco. They're still not winning.
What about in Philadelphia?
Yeah, they're winning now.
The Phillies are fine. They've made the World Series once. They're fine.
All right, Johnny. Am I talking to you before the game, or who do I got?
Yeah, me and you. Yep.
What do you want to talk about?
You know what? With you, it's free flowing, man. Whatever you talk about, we'll free flow. You know, we always do. So whatever you want.
That's your best pizza you've ever had. Is it in New York City?
Yes.
Save it.
The pizza I had last night was off the charts, man. John's Pizza. I don't know if I've beaten that. I don't know if you can beat it. It was unbelievable.
Because sometimes you just know.
Yeah. I'm not a Chicago style pizza style guy.
No, that's too thick.
I'm just not.
All right, buddy. Enjoy Yankee Stadium.
All right.
New Yankee Stadium's pretty incredible.
All right. Hey, the City Field. I talked to Daz Cameron.
Oh, that's right. You're City Field. My fault.
Yeah.
City Field.
Daz Cameron said he went to Shea Stadium when he was 8 with his dad, and he said it was really, he was like looking around. He was pretty pumped to be at City Field. So that was kind of a cool moment.
Hey, I can tell you, Shea Stadium was a dump.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to Shea?
No.
Shea was terrible.
No. Well, Shea Langoliers was named after Shea Stadium. That's kind of cool.
Was he really?
Yes, he was.
I did a big tailgate with a bunch of New Yorkers. I got a great story for you off the air. It'd be off the air material. What we did with some New Yorkers.
Family program
in the parking lot of Shea Stadium. Yes. Yeah.
Look forward to it, Towny,
all right, get out of here.
See you guys.
You ready to talk some movies?
Yes. Lou's there.
Do we have Lou?
Hey, Chris.
Lou, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks for having me. This is cool. I want to hear about that story in New York in the parking lot of Shea.
Problem is, when you do a show like this, people can see it forever, and I have kids, so I can't really tell the story. But let's just say this, Lou. We were feeling great going into a Mets game at Shea Stadium. It was we were ready to rock. We had a great time in the parking lot.
That's exactly how the Oakland A's are approaching this evening's game.
How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. And of course, we're talking about You Gotta Believe, which I think is prevalent to every Major League Baseball player. At some point, we were all little leaguers, weren't we? And dreaming that we could be major leaguers. I'm sure your roster has every one of those young guys had that dream, and they are making that dream come true. And this movie has an element of that, about believing in yourself, believing in a cause as a group, which is really that team thing. We kind of lose sight of now and again in baseball, but it really does get down to the team. And this young team is based on a true story in 2002, Fort Worth, Texas, the West Side Little League, that Cinderella story got on a run and almost took it all the way.
I think about your career. You think about what you've done as an actor, but you started in baseball years ago. So what does that mean to you, come full circle and to do a movie about the game that you love?
First of all, when I go out there and throw with 12-year-old boys, it makes me feel old. I'm sure that in my little mind, I'm still 20 and can do that. But the reality this summer past in Toronto doing that, I realized, wow, this is a long time gone. I love baseball for all the reasons that we all love baseball. I think it's poetic. I think it's a metaphor for life. So when I take people to baseball games who have never been, or particularly people from different countries, I just advise them, hey, just let the game pass through you. Don't try to figure it out. Just enjoy it. And I still find that baseball is served best when you let it happen instead of trying to force it. And so I recognize that amongst these 12-year-olds who are actors fundamentally, Chris, that we were getting into baseball shape. And there were a lot of things we just couldn't force. But in this movie, miraculously, it all comes together. The baseball part of my life was lovely. This is actually my second baseball movie in my career. The first one that I did was filmed up in Alameda. Angels in the Outfield. We did a fair share. Yes, we did a fair share of that in your stadium.
A few of I played baseball at San Jose State. A few of the guys I played with were your guys' players in the movie.
I think I remember this really good left-handed hitting outfielder from San Jose State that we had.
Jason Bug. I think, was the guy who.
Yeah, I think I befriended him, and did he go out and play a little in the minors, I think?
Yes, he did. He played in the minors, played independent baseball. Yeah.
Yeah, he was very good. And of course, Carney Lansford was our technical advisor. And which was great because he brought in Mitchell, the Rage Page, to fill in a role. And a great story for me, interesting. It comes full circle, connected a little bit with Oakland, is that I was working for the Houston Astros at the time as the assistant director of minor leagues and scouting. You both know baseball. It's a live sport, and you don't take much time off. But I did to come participate at the invitation of Carney Lansford. But it goes way back to Mr. McMullen, who owned the Houston Astros at the time, had asked me to come down to the Houston Astrodome in uniform with some gear. And typically that meant working out a player for the owner, that old chestnut, so I could, one of my Bobo's sons gets to say he had a tryout with the Astros. Well, it turned out it was Charlie Sheen, who had been in Houston doing a movie called The Chase with Christy Swanson. But he was prepping to go do Major League 2. And so he needed someone to work out with. And that turned out to be me. And the friendship blossomed. This was all before winning in Tiger Blood. But I met during a birthday party 2 producers who were doing Angels in the Outfield. And they suggested, don't be a caddy for Charlie in Major League 2. Come be a caddy for us and stand on your own 2 feet in Angels in the Outfield, which I did. I basically just played catch for about a month and a half with Matthew McConaughey. But during that time in Oakland, I got a call. Bob Watson, who a former A's hitting instructor and Oakland A, great legend, rest his soul. He called me and said, Lou boy, he called me Lou boy. The team's been sold. I'm taking over. Just wanted to let you know, you don't have to come back from your sabbatical anytime. You need a few extra days, take them. And I'm like, so I told Carney, I'm like, I got to get out of here. You got me. I'm out. And I drove back to Houston, sort of worried about my job. Yeah. And Bob sat me down and said, look, here's the thing. This is a lifetime sport. You're well into it. You're going to do really well in this game. But there might be this other thing that is got your attention. You might be good at it, and you don't know. I'm not firing you, but I'm not rehiring you, so you can decide whether you're going to pursue that or go to baseball. I was not happy. I'm like, I'm being fired. He's like, not really, but if that's the way you want to look at it, I'm like, that's how I'm looking at it. I got a call from Tom Romanesco of the San Diego Padres right away to invite me to come be part of their organization. Who doesn't want to go to San Diego? If you get that offer, Chris, it's a good one. I just heard the echoes of Bob's words. This is, you might want to consider taking this chance. So I went to Brooklyn College to study acting. And here I am talking about You Gotta Believe with Luke Wilson and Greg Kinnear, also baseball fans.
That's crazy. See, you were like a total baseball guy.
I feel like Bob Watson. So what got me started was a young lady in a nice pair of pants that I walked into a building to chat her up about dinner plans. And that ended up being a theater, and it sort of bit me there. I was full on. I was Eric Kubota. I think you guys know Eric. He's still in here. He was basically, but as a young man, I've been knowing Eric that long. And we were all well on our way. I have no doubt I'd be, sitting where he is, so to speak, or
you'd be in a front office somewhere
at a high level. I think I'd be Cashman. I mean, that's how cocky I was.
Woo!
Yeah. I mean, because that guy was getting me Starbucks back at Winter. And but
you could have been Billy Bean.
Billy was still playing. Billy was. Yeah. I was passing on Billy left, right, and center after the first, after the draft. But at the draft, he was great. What's so great is that you see baseball on the inside and all these great stories. And certainly a big part of this baseball world that you're in is communication, trust, and valued information. So when Vince Cotroneo in Houston's like, okay, what are you guys thinking about the first round? Well, look, you didn't hear it from me, but I'm going to let you know we are undecided. And he's like, okay, well, you know what? That's not a good place to be when you have the first pick in the nation. And we were like a mixed bag. You're not supposed to be that way. And we were all over the
Phil
place.
Nevin draft?
It is.
Okay,
it is.
I played against Phil. Yeah.
So you know, Phil was, he was a dirt dog. He was a grinder, and everything looked like he's a quick route to the major leagues, and that's what Houston needed at the time. Yeah. But there's a little kid out of Michigan who our people liked well enough. I mean, when I say liked well enough, that certainly wasn't that Derek Jeter was going to make it in the big leagues in our evaluation in 2 years. But, Chris, would Derek Jeter have looked good in an Astro uniform?
You can't draft. Phil Nevin was, obviously I'm biased. I played against him. Yeah. At that time, we're in the same conference. Phil Nevin was Team USA. He was known, no question, the best player in amateur baseball versus some skinny kid from Kalamazoo, a snowbird. I could see how,
I was pimping a guy out of LSU, the big right-handed reliever is who I liked. I remember Bob liked Chad Mottola. We had a variety of guys. Paul Shuey, I think, was in that draft. It wasn't clear cut. Our scout, it was really what it was, the best audition. And Paul Weaver, our scout, gave the best presentation of Phil Nevin. Also, we had all seen Phil Nevin come to Rice University, I think, in a regional playoff game, getting a brawl. I mean, someone buzzed his tower. He went out to the mound, and it was on. And then even at third base, I remember him getting he was scrappy. He was.
They would lose to Pepperdine in the College World Series, but Phil hit like 400 in the College World Series. I mean, I can see. By the way, similarities. What similarities Hollywood, and now Hollywood's even different because you're doing stuff like you can be Netflix or what. So any type of film production, what are the similarities between that world and the baseball world?
That's a great question. I think the main thing is confidence. So when a young player comes up and lands in Oakland, he inherently feels like he belongs there. What are you waiting for? And you see that right away. It's not cockiness. It's just mano a mano confidence, if I can couch it in those terms. I think when I'm around actors on set, like Denzel Washington or Johnny Depp or McConaughey or this kid Luke Grimes, who I've had a chance to work with. He's on Yellowstone. You see that confidence, and it's not cockiness. The other thing that's great is, I don't know whether fear's the right word. I'd say a healthy respect for your competition. I'm assuming you see that in these guys as well. Like, hey, that guy's got good stuff. He's not going to be an easy day. I see that in actors as well. Like, oh, I could get caught out that I'm not that good. And I'm Denzel Washington. I see a little thing in their eyes, which I'm really interested in. The difference is that exact thing. If I blow it, we get take two. If I blow it on your field, I'm heading back to the dugout, or I'm watching one sail over the right field wall. So I do think our bravado as an actor is really false. And having been around your game, that is real. I mean, that is entirely real competition. It's real drama. It's that, and that's the other part of baseball that I love so much. So yeah, kind of a big difference. And then interestingly, you're at pregame, so you see all the work that goes on that a lot of fans don't. So you understand that you don't just show up and be great, but that work is repetition and rote. And I came into acting kind of with that idea. That's not actually very organic, Chris. Like your show, I've watched your show a few times, and you were just visiting about how you're good off book. You're good at improving. You're good at sketch, coming up. And so acting is exactly that. You can't be so dialed into the script because it doesn't come across naturally. We haven't scripted this conversation. That's why it's flowing. And I needed to learn with art that it's not rote. It's not repetition. It's not learning your lines so that you say them as you've learned them in and out. And you got to let them cook, man.
What's fascinating about you, and we'll get to You Gotta Believe, but what's fascinating about you and what I'm learning here is that not only are you the talent, but you spent a whole nother life being a talent evaluator.
Yes.
And what a lot of people don't understand about people in that, whether it's baseball, football, whatever, you're basically evaluating human beings. You're evaluating everything about them. You're evaluating their physical ability, their mental ability. People go digging deep. They want to talk to parents, grandparents, girlfriends, teachers. You're studying and basically banking your career on whether the guys you like are going to work. So it's like, I can see where you could take those skills that you learn being a talent evaluator in baseball. Yes, you're good enough to be in huge things in your career as an actor, but also as an actor, you can now evaluate other actors, who's good, who's not, who can play what roles. I mean, you're like a tweener. You can go either way.
Yeah, I give you credit for recognizing that, and I assume you've done it in your career as well. Because when we played, we had to figure out how to survive on the field, and we had to figure out how to stay on the field and not lose our jobs. And that figuring out of survival, if you will, was really based on observation and recognizing who was better than you and why, and how did you fit in to the team aspect to serve that better player, to serve the team, to serve the story, to serve the script. So I have entirely carried that skill set over into my acting. I recognize entirely what my job is on a film set or a television show. You got to believe. I recognize immediately, oh, here's how I fit in to help tell this story. And I always approach acting. The best acting advice I ever got was from an architect who builds cities in Europe. And he talked about feel, not field, but feel of depth. So you feel the person 3 blocks down when you build something, and the wider berth of feel you have, which is what I try to bring into my work. How does the homeless guy in Santa Monica feel about You Gotta Believe? It's a strange dichotomy, but I try to bring that observation skill set into my work to open me up to be more serviceable. And that's entirely where do you fit, and then it'll present itself.
What's fascinating about these runs that these young teams have, I was fortunate to be on one in Pony League, but this is obviously much greater, is especially when you talk about Little League, and in smaller towns or certain parts of the country, the whole community, the whole county, everybody gets behind these teams, these kids, because they've watched these kids grow up. They know the parents, the parents work in town. Just talk about when you're doing the movie, the sense that you get. It's just not these kids winning games. It's much bigger than that.
Yeah. And that's the challenge. And also the trap is to not lose sight of what the community was, because the community was entirely the inspiration. I went down to the Western Regionals last year in San Bernardino for the Little League after I'd come back from having done the film. And the support system that lifts these young players up is amazing. And it's always been like when you guys played, it was this exact same way. And whether that means getting a hamburger after the game and some bubble gum and some baseball cards at the concession stand and watching the older guys play, because that's where you were going to play on the big field someday. All of that is so important. And there's a ritual and or rite of passage. Now, it's been evolved so much with specialty, travel teams and the specialty all-stars that community is evolved, but it's still there. So absolutely, this team in particular wasn't a group of all-stars. So typically a region is built on the best players. This was a team that just took a position in the tournament as a placeholder so that the best team in that region could play their first game and move on. And this was a bonus prize for being the worst team in the league. You guys get to play in the regionals because, you showed up, and they won. And then they went on that run, and it was really incredible. And so we've gotten to meet most of the players on that team as adults now.
Yeah, 2002. Yeah, they're adults.
Yeah, they're great. And then of course the inspiration in this movie, we call it a feel-good story. It does have a bit of a heart-wrenching ending where the coach is sick. And is in his own fight. And the kids inherently, it's funny with kids, children, how they are able to react to tragedy and how they're able to, prevail. I crumble at that. I want to just go hide. And 12-year-olds. I'm a cancer survivor of leukemia at MD Anderson Hospital, and I watch kids be as fighting cancer and not making it, be as brave and as courageous as any people I've ever seen. And so this team was very similar. And they're one run away from going to the the Little League World Series play at the plate. And 2 days later, they're pallbearers at a funeral. And so it's kind of incredible. And Luke Wilson, and for me, he's never been better. He's amazing in this role as the coach, as is Greg Kinnear.
I know he's got to be like the dad coach. I could just see him in that role.
He's perfect. And Luke's a huge baseball fan, by the way. And so Luke's he's like Snoop Dogg. He's a fan of everybody. So you'd never pin him down to be like, oh, you're a Houston Astro fan or a Texas Ranger fan. He's an Oakland A fan. He's he's an Atlanta Braves. He's really Atlanta Braves fan. A little inside secret, very similar to your tailgate story.
No question. Very good comparison.
Greg is, Luke's not going to embarrass himself. And so he is throwing out the first pitch for the Texas Rangers on the 31st. We open the 30th. Actually, it's the 30th. I might catch that.
I was going to ask because the website says August 2024, and I'm like, well, it's August 13th.
Yeah, we open on the 30th, so we're really excited. It's 1,500 theaters. There are ads running right now on 15 of the major league teams' broadcasts, and in 4 days, all of the major league teams' broadcasts, which you will be part of as the Oakland team. We're running ads at the minor league ballparks, including the Savannah Bananas, the 31st major league team.
Smart.
And we're obviously at the Little League World Series, which is starting up, and it's very, very exciting. This is going to be not your Bad News Bears, not your Sandlot, not your Miracle on Ice, but a taste of all of those. And I think and it's a family feel-good movie. We don't have to hide our New York Mets parking lot story. You can bring it out unapologetically. It's going to be an inspirational story, and we're just really excited. It's done well. Also, the baseball is done pretty good. No one sees more baseball than y'all, and so when you see baseball, you're like ah. And what's your favorite baseball movie? Both of you, real quick.
Bull Durham.
Nice.
No question.
The first major league.
Okay. Like it. I like it. I'm a little more classic in 8-Man Out. And so the cerebral part of it, because
I could go natural. I want to ask you real quick before we go. How much did this reignite the fire? How much did this reconnect you to the game of baseball?
I am attached to an old friend of mine, Tad Slowick, who is a former scout. And what he does is he covers junior college baseball with evaluation, and then gets some of these kids into 4-year programs. A lot of the 4-year programs come to him and ask, I am going to go in September and scout a showcase for him in Seattle, Washington, of all places. And I do a podcast once a week called the JUCO Jam during the season. And I'm totally into the game. I love what you do. I love that you keep kind of baseball lore alive. It's the numbers are great, and we love the numbers, and a lot of times the numbers say an awful lot, but the stories and the romance of the game, which is what you do on this show, is really important. And I wished when I was a kid there were more shows like this. And I'm happy to be part of this today.
Well, hey, thank you so much. Good luck. It was an honor to have you. I can't wait to see the movie, and we got to have you on again.
Anytime. I'll be really, really happy, and we can get Eric Kubota on, and we can talk about players. We can talk about Phil Nevin an awful lot, and his Houston Astro selection process. He was great. There was a guy that was confident. I'm sure you knew when you played him how confident he was. And
he was the first guy to wear the Oakleys. Remember, the big leaguers are making fun of him. Now everybody wears them.
The only guy that showed up in our organization that had that type of, we'll call it swag. Is cocky a word used anymore? No one uses
swag. You got to have swag.
Yeah. The only other guy I had been exposed to like that was Craig Biggio. He showed up like, get me to the big leagues. He knew, and so did Nevin. And so I'm sure you see players like that coming, because you draft pretty exceptionally, high players. So I'm sure you see those guys. And then you start to see the guys that have that little, I'm not sure. And those are the ones that we're not talking about.
No doubt. Hey, good luck with the movie, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me.
You
Got to Believe out August 30th. Go see it.
Awesome. Great stuff. That was super cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Vince, for helping with that, first of all. Second of all, Lou, thank you for saving the state of Pennsylvania along with Denzel Washington and Chris Pine in the movie Unstoppable. I wanted to bring that up to him, but they saved the movie from a runaway train. That's his role in there. He's really good in that movie. So that was awesome, though. Listen to him talk about his career into the Astros and all that. That was really good. Bravo by you.
Well, just think about his career and all the major things that he's been in. But he started as a baseball executive.
It's great. When Vince mentioned that he worked with the Astros,
I love Eric Kubota, but I don't think Eric Kubota is going to be starring in anything outside of.
Whoa! There's a guy that played him in Moneyball.
I hear you. Yeah, you remember Walking Dead? That show was huge.
I think he was in season 3 of that show.
Lifetime Achievement Award from the annual Gulf Coast Film and Video Festival. See, it's so. When we were so accustomed to where movie theaters, but now all the different places that put stuff out, right? And it's like when you watch the Academy Awards and all the different people now outside of what we normally got from movie studios who are now winning the awards, and you just think of all the different ways that we see entertainment now, and just all the different, like you just look at his body of work. And once again, was helping run the scouting department for the Houston Astros.
It's incredible.
It's a great story.
And also one of the guys in the movie too is Patrick Renna. If anyone remembers who he is, he's the kid from The Sandlot. What's the kid? The kid that plays the catcher. I can't remember his name.
The big kid. It was the big kid. Yeah.
But yeah,
he's not a kid anymore.
Yeah, no, he's in this movie. He's one of the main characters in the movie. So he's back on the baseball diamond as well, along with Lou and Luke Wilson and Greg Kinnear. So I'm looking forward to seeing this at the end of the month. I think he said August 30th. So I'll make sure I go see it.
August 30th. So they're going to be doing all around baseball and throughout the Little League World Series and the Savannah Bananas.
That's huge.
Well, because that's so family oriented, right? Families like Savannah Bananas have become the modern day Harlem Globetrotters, and it's brilliant. Like, we have both said, hey, baseball needs to meet up with the Savannah Bananas and say, okay, what can we use? Something that was brought to my attention, I didn't see it. It was brought up. I think Chris Carey brought it up to me. But Michael Kay had an idea, and I'm sure traditional baseball people hated it. But did you hear about Michael Kay's idea in the ninth inning?
No.
Being able to put up your whatever three you want to have lead off the inning. I got to see it first. I just know Carey told me about it. And
I feel like someone's thrown this idea out there before about having whoever you can pick the three guys you want to
yeah,
bat the ninth inning.
I could come up with some rules. Like it's got to be okay if you're trailing by 4 or less, and I know traditionalists will hate it, but guess what? Everything the traditionalists have hated has worked. Has anybody, and I was thinking about this the other day when Chris told me about this idea, has anybody brought up how big the bases are? When's the last time someone brought that up?
Haven't heard it.
When's the last time someone brought up the pitch clock? Oh my God, this is horrible for baseball.
Couldn't tell you.
I mean, our games are 2 hours 15, 2 hours and 20. Everybody's happy. I mean, the new rule. When's the last time someone brought up, wait a minute, you come out of the bullpen, you got to face 3 guys? No one's complaining about all the rules that they were once complaining about.
Remember, we had an idea on this very program. I had after a certain amount of innings, you do the home run derby to determine who wins in extra innings. You want entertainment? There you go. It's like the shootout in hockey.
I actually love the idea. I always like thinking about it now. Traditionalists are going to hate it, but you know what? I don't care what they think because they created it. Shooty Babbitt said it best to me yesterday playing golf. He said, modern day baseball. I mean, Shooty's a guy who played in the big leagues. Shooty's been a scout forever. And he basically said they've created the game strikeout. And you remember what strikeout was? Guy got, your buddy, wiffle balls. You stand against the garage. I try and strike you out. I try and take you deep. That's what they've created. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So your game that you loved from yesteryear, this is what the modern version of it is. Can you imagine if you could have that rule? It would be phenomenal. But what a cool idea. When you're talking about, I mean, Luke Wilson, Greg Kinnear, this is going to be a big-time movie.
Yeah, and our next guest is a big movie guy.
Who do we got next?
Adnan's a big movie guy.
I wonder if Ed, have you heard about the new movie coming out, You Gotta Believe?
First off, great to see you both. Thanks for having me on. And yes and no. I went and saw Deadpool Wolverine Friday night because I wanted to wait for the riffraff to die down. So I waited 2 weeks. By the way, still a mistake. I couldn't believe it. I finished work, MLB tonight. I go there. There's still a line. I go, haven't you people all seen this? You've seen it second, third, fourth time now to salivate over Deadpool Wolverine. But on the way out, I saw a poster for it, and I adore Greg Kinnear. I don't have a specific reason. I love As Good As It Gets. I love whenever I see Greg Kinnear, I'm happy. And Luke Wilson, of course, with the Wilson Brothers, he's funny. I don't know what the movie's about, but yes, I saw a billboard for it. I will do some research and find out if it's worth watching. But I know it's coming out soon.
So we just had Lou Temple on, the actor, who he's fascinating because he used to work in the front office for the Astros in the 90s. Then he's had this great career in Hollywood. He's part of the movie, and it's about a Little League team in 2002 in Texas. They were like the throw-in team that's supposed to get beat, and all of a sudden they just keep winning and winning and winning and winning. And it sounds like an unbelievable movie. There's actually, a lot of life lessons in it. Fortunately, someone passes away at the very end, so they go from playing baseball to being pallbearers. I mean, there's a lot of things. it's amazing these movies, because we're around this, right? This is our job. This is what we do. It's amazing how these movies can bring back just the love, the youth, and just why we got into this in the first place.
Oh, without question. I mean, listen, if you love sports movies, people often ask me favorite sports movies. I go, listen, what kind of a question are you asking? Do you want like the best movie? Then obviously it's Raging Bull or it's $1 Million Baby or movies like that. But if you just want like fun, obviously I'm taking Major League. Like, how is that even a question? So with these kinds of movies, you're right. It takes you back to why we all became sports fans in the first place. And I don't know if you guys have kids, but once I became a dad, I explained it to people. I go, there's nothing better when you got to play Little League, right? And I was an average and remain so an average baseball player. I could hit a line drive, I don't have much power, I got decent defense, and that's it. But I said, but there's nothing better than playing baseball when you're a kid. And I said, then when you become a dad, you get to coach Little League, and it's your kid. And like, hey, I'm back again. Like, this is now I'm 45. We're doing this again. Like, this is awesome. So I'm with you, man. Part of the reason why people love movies so much is to be able to be in someone else's shoes. And that concept sounds amazing. And basically, you're the Bad News Bears. You're supposed to be the team that sucks and going to get drilled. And all of a sudden you make a run all the way to, and that sounds like a cool story. I went to Williamsport at least 4 or 5 years. Quick aside for ESPN.
Yeah.
It's great, but I'll be honest, it's a little bit like Groundhog Day because you're there for like, a week, and it just becomes a little monotonous because it's like, oh, Lamedy Field, that's the main field. Then there's the other field. And of course, being Canadian, I always cheer for Canada. Canada would lose always in the first round. China, Taipei beats us, Japan beats us. Like, oh, that sucks. So it's like me and Dan Shulman complaining after Canada loses.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool environment. Tim Kirkchin was the funniest guy there because he's the same height as all the kids. So like they loved Kirkchin. But I was there. It's funny. Aaron Boone and the Yankees gonna be there this Sunday. I was there with Booney a couple of years.
Yeah.
Booney last there. It's a really cool environment. If you guys have ever been to Williamsport, I highly recommend it.
All right, so obviously the A's are at Citi Field, so you guys are probably tracking that. But really, I want to start with the story is the West. The NL West right now, the Dodgers, we've been so used to. Dodgers are going to win the division. It's going to be 12 out of 13. The only year they didn't win it is when the Giants won 107. They won 106. And all of a sudden, here comes the Snakes. Here comes the Padres. For the first time, you're like, wow, this is unbelievable, this race. How's everybody at MLB Network feeling about the NL West right now?
Well, quite honestly, guys, all I care about, because I'm lucky enough to get to go to the World Series, is warm weather places. So I know last year we could look at the World Series and go, Rangers, D-backs, stunk. Like, I thought it was fantastic. It was great weather in Arlington and Arizona, 80 and sunny. They got domes, didn't have to worry about any rainouts. So listen, I spend most of my time thinking and dreaming of a San Diego Padres World Series. I would just love to get to San Diego in October, any time of year. And there's no doubt the numbers have been awesome. They've won 27 games in which they've either trailed or were tied at any point in the 7th inning. That's the most in Major League Baseball. So they're truly the cardiac kids. They've won 8 of their last 9 games. They've outscored opponents 32-11 in the 7th inning or later. Again, late innings where they do their magic. Since the start of play July 20th, 17-3, best record in baseball. Now, a lot of it's pitching, right? Their starter ERA, NL best, 3.18 since July 20th. Their bullpen, 2.56 ERA. That's 4th in baseball. But then their lineup's loaded. They score 6 runs per game. Like Machado's back. Xander Bogaerts hitting 376 since coming back from the IL. Jackson Merrill's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's the player of the week. So honestly, all of us here at MLB Network, we're really impressed, quite honestly, with what the Padres are doing. And Arizona has been awesome as well. So I think, honestly, it's a good story to see LA being challenged a little bit. Like, I think, and by the way, I still give LA credit because they had that Mookie Betts for 2 months. Got a fractured hand. He comes back, first game back, home run, stolen base, no problem. Otani batting leadoff, home run, stolen base, no problem. The fact that Otani is the second most stolen bases by only Ellie De La Cruz in the National League kind of blows my mind. But ultimately, I think it's a good story because I'm with you, Chris. I did not think LA would get challenged. If you told me 2.5 games mid-August, I'd say you're crazy. But both San Diego and Arizona put the heat on. And quickly on Arizona, Ketel Marte's been awesome. Unfortunately, banged up right now. Don't know how serious it is. Christian Walker's in the lineup. But we're talking to Jake McCarthy today on MLB Tonight. And I look forward to talking to him. He's been a real catalyst for this offense. They've got Eduardo Rodriguez back now, of course. He's only made 1 start since signing that big free agent deal. So Arizona's legit.
We just had Dave Roberts on when they were here, and I actually said to him, I said, maybe a little adversity right now, which you really haven't had, will be a really good thing for you in the postseason because they've struggled once they get there with a little adversity. So we'll see. Really kind of like with the A's taking on the Mets. The Mets are right there. It's funny with all the guys they've got rid of, and they're paying to play somewhere else. But the Mets are right there. It's the Braves that are – is that the most shocking right now?
I think so, man. Like it was last week. I was on the desk and the Mets won. The Atlanta lost. I looked down at my notes and I go, "Wow, this is the first time all season Atlanta is not even in a playoff spot. And you would have said going to the year, I remember being asked on Le Batard show, who's the better team, Braves or Dodgers? That was a legit question. Last year, they had 8 All-Stars. Like, their offense was ridiculous. They hit 307 home runs last year. So that was a legit question. Who's better, Braves or Dodgers? And then you go, well, they'll probably win the division, Phillies wild card. And very quickly you go, dude, no one's beating the Phillies. They're winning this division. Okay, fine. Braves wild card, though. Probably the first wild card. And they went from first to second to third, and now they're out of the play. It's kind of shocking. I'm with you. To have them only 6 games above 500, they're currently a playoff team. They're 1 game up on the Mets, but literally, a bad week, and they're out of it. The biggest issue for them has been their offense, quite honestly. Matt Olson's one of my favorite players, but he has not been the same guy. Just their whole infield, they have not hit home runs the way they did a season ago. They obviously miss Acuna. That's a big blow. They miss Spencer Strider. That's a big blow. Charlie Morton got crushed his last inning. He got 8 runs in 2 and 2. Sale might win a Cy Young. Like, I was looking at the voting odds. Sale was great last time. I'm sure you guys saw it. That Sale-Snell matchup, that was awesome. I was watching on my couch going, hey, 2 guys, both pitching the 7th, both with 10 strikeouts. Am I in 1991 again? Is this Morris Smoltz? Awesome. So I was thrilled to see it. But, yeah, Atlanta, they got to get that offense going, man. But, by the way, Michael Harris should be back soon. I think Thursday I read he will really help that offense because he can be a real catalyst for them.
All right, Grimace wasn't happy about the road trip, especially for the Mets in Seattle, as Seattle's pitching continues to be fantastic. But just take us the vibe in the city. I mean, we know the Yankees lost to the White Sox. They still have the best road record in baseball. Just what's the vibe like for the Mets right now?
Well, it's interesting. Honestly, Chris, it went from, it's all Yankees, Mets, disappointing story. Who do they trade? Where's Pete Alonso going to? And all of a sudden, win a little run. OMG, Iglesias, great story. But that series against Seattle, like, that is such a wake-up call, because just when you start to feel good about the Mets and get good vibrations, they got absolutely crushed. 10-game, 4-city road trip. They went 4-6. The sweep against the Mariners, 1 run over a 3-game set. I mean, it's terrible. Now, having said that, the Mariners have the best starting pitching home ERA in baseball. This shouldn't be surprising that George Kirby's going to deal, or Logan Gilbert, or Luis Castillo, or Bryce Miller, or Brian Wu. Like, those 5 are awesome. They're great pitchers. So there's lots of company in that respect. But this road trip, Alonso went 0 for 11, 6 strikeouts. JD Martinez, he's hitting a .125, 0 home runs over his last 7 games. Frankie Lindor has not hit a home run in 16 games. He's slashing 265, 306, 294 in that span. Brandon Nimmo's hitting 152 in 21 games since the All-Star break. So their offense is really kind of struggling right now. And again, they're facing your A's, who have not played like a last-place team recently. And shout out to Brent Rooker, who was on MLB Now today. When Cody had reached out to me, I said, okay, I gotta beef up on my A's.
Yeah.
So I did see Rooker was on the network today. Some unbelievable numbers. He's 5th in WRC plus, 173, 29 home runs, 965 OPS. He's been an awesome story. And how about Lawrence Butler? 11 home runs, 685 slug over this last little stretch. I'll tell you what, not everyone knows a lot of A's, but all of us know Rooker and Butler. Those guys have been awesome for you.
Well, that the big thing, the talk of all, Mason Miller is going to get traded, Brent Rooker is going to get traded. We do the GM show every week with David Forrest. He's like, no, we're not trading these guys. What did the signal to baseball? Because we all know since Billy Beane started this whole thing that it's never long that the A's are down before they're back in contention. What did it say to everybody, especially like at MLB Network? Hey, the A's aren't making these trades. They're starting to believe again.
I think it makes total sense, honestly. I mean, Miller, and I'm guilty of it as well. Maybe I just want to see a trade and see some excitement, but I was they got to trade him, blah, blah, blah. And Ruben Amaro Jr., I'm close pals with. He's an awesome guy, of course, former Phillies GM, does a lot of work for them as an analyst. He said he was always aggressive with the trade deadline. If he was someone like the Orioles where they need a closer, he goes, I would literally call them and go, hey, Jackson Holiday, #1 prospect in baseball, straight up for Mason Miller. Like, let's just get this done. You can have Jackson Holiday the next 10 years, and I'm going to get this elite closer. Let's do this. And I said, wow, you'd be the type to do that. He's like, yeah. Baltimore wouldn't. He goes, I'm sure the A's, if you blew them away, they would trade Mason Miller. But they didn't get blown away. He's a special player. His unbelievable strikeout to walk ratio and all the rest of it. And here's the big thing, as you guys know, club control. Like, it's one thing when you're a pending free agent, the guy has to get paid. No, I got you for 3 years, bro. Look at Rooker. I think he's under club control for 3 years, if not 4. So you're right. Every year you discount the A's, and fine, they're 19 games under 500. But you start to see the development of some talent there. And with Rooker and Butler and Miller, you've got future stars there, like all-stars and guys that can really carry a team. So I think most of us look at the team and say, hey, it'd be good to see some trades just because we're working trade deadline day. But ultimately, it's probably wise the A's kept them. Listen, they're going to say goodbye to Oakland. They're going to go to Sacramento. That'll be a few years. Who knows? You go to Vegas. These guys could be a part of that franchise when they really become stars. So I think it was a wise move by the A's.
Let's end on this because I know you got a show to do. For me, if you're in this industry, you're watching MLB Network all day long, whether you're watching Central or MLB Now or whatever. But when you're on the show that you're doing and you've got whatever ex-players or analysts with you, you're shooting all around baseball to all these games. Later at night, it's Quick Pitch, which is the best highlight show. But the show you do is talking about baseball as it's going on. Like, how cool is hosting that show with the analyst? You're looking at games, you're going to games in progress. I mean, you're doing the stuff that's happening right. You're not previewing, you're not highlighting, you're talking about what's happening right now.
Yeah, I'm so fortunate, man. This has been a great home for me. I worked 9 years at ESPN. It's been 5 years now at MLB Network, and it's these guys have embraced me and felt like I'm part of the team, and it's been awesome. And you're right. If someone explained to you, what is your job? I walked in at 3:00. We had a meeting in which we talked baseball. I'm now looking at baseball notes. I'm going to go talk baseball. I'm going to watch baseball. Like it's ridiculous. And you're right. Specifically for my show, there's no better gig because 6 to 7, ostensibly you preview the games, but you're right. There's so many early games. I'm looking now, like the 6:35 is the first game. So half-hour gap. Here's what's happening. They got Nats, Orioles kicking things off. Trevor Rogers makes his home debut. I got Cubs, Guardians right after that. Matthew Boyd making his debut. Mariners, Tigers. I love watching George Kirby. He's unbelievable. So I'm a big fan of these 6:40 starts because that means we get right into the baseball and start channel surfing. Cardinals, Reds, Marlins, Phillies, Astros, Rays, all before 7 o'clock. And you're right. We literally go game to game. Years ago when I was in Canada, I did a show called Court Surfing when I worked in the NBA. And now I get to do diamond surfing. So I can't think of a better job. I mean, I was doing it last night on my couch. I had 8 TVs. I'm just going to flip them between each game, whichever the best game is. So I can do it for a living. So you're like, Chris, I'm so lucky. I'm so blessed.
Well, it's just you guys watch every game every night. And it's so amazing how in baseball, the season is so long. You can look at teams like at one point, Philadelphia looked unbeatable, right? Teams can look unbeatable. And next thing you know, you're like, I don't even recognize these guys. And then now Arizona has the best record in baseball since June 1st. Just the flow of a baseball season and to watch humans on teams change throughout the year. It's really fascinating.
I completely agree. When people say baseball is a long season, it sounds like a negative. I'm like, what do you mean? It's the best sport around. I like the fact it's a long season. I like the fact I know day in, day out, I'm getting baseball from March 28th till October 28th. So I'm with you. I find the ebbs and valleys fascinating. It would obviously not be exciting if a team went wire to wire. I love the fact the Yankees had a .700 winning percentage and then had a terrible record for a month. And the Phillies look like the team to beat. Guess what? The Dodgers have a better record now than the Phillies. What the Dodgers have overcome, again, I can't overstate this. They've had 17 different starting pitchers, and they have the best record in the National League. I think that's insane. And they didn't have Mookie Betts. He's one of the best players in the world for 2 months. No problem. Like, wait till those guys get healthy. So I'm with you. I think the Ebbs. I looked at potential World Series all the time. As I said to you guys, I'm cheering for the Padres just so I can go to San Diego. But you could tell me Yankees, Dodgers. You could tell me Orioles, Phillies. You could tell me the Guardians. I mean, I'm with you. The D-backs could go back again. Like, why not? Like that's the beauty of our season. You think you got a handle on it, and then something completely unpredictable happens. That's baseball.
You're fantastic on TV. We'll be watching today, and let's talk later in the season. Be well.
Anytime, Chris. Appreciate it. Thanks to Cody as well. Say hi to my buddy Dallas Braden, my old partner there at ESPN.
Yeah, the good old days. Baseball tonight.
That's right. Me and DB back in the day. Good fun. Thank you, boys.
Good. Take care. Adnan's great on television. Yeah, I remember he used to do the NBA stuff, too. Wow, rip-roaring show today.
A lot of heavy hitters. Then, well, coming up in like 12 minutes, we got a co-host of the award-winning. We're going to get to the bottom of the award-winning.
I don't think I've ever heard him say award-winning.
No, it's just Bowden.
Yeah,
we got one half of the award-winning front office show on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM, on Sunday mornings, 7 to 10 our time, coming up. Jim Duquette. We'll get to the bottom of what award did you win?
Joe Boyle's back. Last outing, threw the ball real well, ton of strikeouts, threw strikes. And Kyle Muller designated for assignment. I have a sneaky suspicion, just like all of the other times we DFA people recently. I believe he'll be back in Vegas. But if somebody is, I've always liked him. I like his arm. If he gets picked up by somebody, I'm not going to be shocked. But yeah, Kyle Muller. By the way, our press release, I had a buddy who sent me what we put out on X, and then I looked at our press release. Right-hander Kyle Muller was designated for assignment. Kyle Muller's left-handed.
I didn't realize. Maybe he's ambidextrous. Who knows?
I don't know. Pat Vendetti. But I had a buddy, a Red Sox fan, my friend, who took a picture of him and said, "Hey, what's going on with you guys?" I went, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "When did Kyle Muller become right-handed?"
Well, I could take a shot at the Red Sox, but I won't.
No.
No, I'm saying they're used to setting up press releases, all the stuff they've been dealing with over the last couple months, years. So he's used to seeing press releases.
Reading over them.
Extensively.
Because you know what? I could see, like, you just read over it like I wouldn't even have paid attention. You're just looking at the names, and we know the names.
I looked at the email, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, going Muller's back. Muller's gone. Boyle's back. And I looked, I'm like, oh, yeah, it does say right hand.
Are you going to be like Paulie B's on the mound today? Paulie Win Day? Paulie Punch Out? What was your nickname?
Paulie Pizza.
Paulie Pizza?
Paulie Pie Day. Well, he's going to New York now. I mean, God, he was eating pizza here. He's in New York. We're going to have to catch up with him eventually and be like, all right, what pizza did you find in New York?
Johnny's claiming best pizza ever. 2 earned runs, 12 strikeouts over 12 innings for him, and 2 starts so far for the Mets. We love Paul Blackburn. Hell of a guy, great guy. We'll root for him. Not today. We'll root for him. But this kind of tells you, this stat right here tells you everything you need to know about Paul Blackburn's career with the A's. Now, remember, when the A's dealt him, he was the longest tenured player. Do you know who the longest tenured player is now?
Seth Brown.
Yeah.
That's a great guess.
He won 21 games with a 4.83 ERA, parts of 8 seasons with the A's. Just think about that. 8 years, only 21 games, and an all-star appearance.
So it's an average of less than 3 wins a year.
You know how rare that is that a guy like Paul Blackburn could remain with one organization for 8 years and pitch not very much.
You look at it and go, 21 wins, he must have been a middle reliever or a guy pitched in the bullpen to get only 21 wins. No, he was a starter, but he was just a lot of injuries. The fingernail, the ankle this year.
Oh, elbow, arm. There's always something with him. I remember back, like, we DFA'd him too, right?
Yeah.
Like 8 years. Paul Blackburn was here 8 years and won 21 games. That's it. With a 4.83 ERA. 8 years.
I mean, you could look at it and say, well.
My God, Cody, 8 years. You know how long 8 years is? Paul Blackburn was in the organization, but hardly played.
Yeah. If you could look at it in a positive way, the last few guys that the A's that have been all-stars at the DFA'd were, one of the all-stars, Liam Hendricks, Paul Blackburn. So it's not always a bad thing, I guess, if you're DFA'd or outrighted by the organization, because you could become an all-star.
Those are outliers, Cody. I can't live in the outlier world. I just saw that note today, and I just thought, wow, that is unbelievable. But, good for him. A chance to hopefully stay healthy and help the Mets hopefully get into the postseason. Because right now, I kind of would like to be a little bit of a troll with all that. And, of course, it's the A's. We've done a few trades with Atlanta, and we've had to hear about how smart Atlanta is. Alex Anthopoulos, and they're so smart, and they're so this, and they're so that. I guess as a little bit of a troll in me, I wouldn't mind seeing them fall flat on their face. Because they won a World Series without their big gun in center field. He got hurt. They made a bunch of trades. They got that same guy back who was huge for him in Soler. But, they've had a lot of success, but it's kind of like, and the trades with us, how we got fleeced. I mean, now the Sean Murphy trade, really there's zero with the last really breath that you have. What do you got? You got Esty Ruiz,
Manny Pena, who's gone. Tarnick's gone. Roy Bear Salinas is hurt, and he's out for the year. but he is in AAA.
Ruiz is basically done for the year.
Yeah. So all those guys, if you go back and look at that deal, the team that won that deal, it's not even close as Milwaukee. They got Contreras and Joel Payamps, who have both been great for them. Murph's been hurt for the Braves.
You could also say it cleared the way for Langoliers
yes.
to become who he is.
That's why I asked my friends yesterday when I took a picture of Sean Murphy's batting average and his slash line on television during the Giants game, and I said, would you rather have this or what Shea Langoliers has done?
No, it's no question. It's no question. Right? It's like looking at Chris Bassett and go, when you look at Chris Bassett's numbers, would you really want to play $22 million for that? Do you really miss Frankie Montas, who missed a season, now has been traded? Oh, he's going to help. Frankie Montas has over a 5 ERA. Like, you root for the guys that played for you, but it's amazing the players that get away, and we've gone over this before. Unfortunately, our fan base or baseball fan bases are far different from football. Football, once you start making money, you get older, even fans want you gone. Baseball, we want to keep everybody forever. I mean, how many of the guys that get away do you really go, oh my God, I can't believe we don't have them anymore? And I wish we were paying that amount of money.
Yeah, for sure.
$22 million for Chris Bassett?
Yeah.
I don't remember what Frankie Montas. By the way, Jim, we haven't had a break yet. Jim Duquette, former GM, star of SiriusXM, joins us next right here on A's Cast Live.
If you haven't been to the Chicken Pie Shop in Walnut Creek, what are you waiting for? You're going to love the new menu, and it's a great place to watch all the pennant race action and the upcoming NFL and college football seasons. Come taste their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next corporate party or birthday celebration. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Hi, fans. This season, Kingsford Capital Management is the official hedge fund sponsor of the Oakland A's. At Kingsford, down to business is their way of seeing the world. Investing has its pitfalls, treacherous chasms of half-truth and despair. Kingsford's mission is to create opportunity through application of proven innovation and entrepreneurial focus with trust, tenacity, loyalty, and growth, establishing a strong reputation as a proven intendant and validated bedrock of American finance. Kingsford Capital, down to business.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, step up to the plate with Xfinity Internet. Get the fastest speeds and low-lag streaming for an incredible viewing experience that knocks it out of the park. And you'll have a consistent connection with reduced buffering and freezing, so you can stay in all the action inning after inning. When it's game time, make sure to catch it all with internet that's powerful and reliable. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity, because it's only live once. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Many factors affect speed. For factors affecting speed, visit xfinity.com/network management.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
It's summertime, and I can guarantee you probably need to redo your wardrobe. You want to look good, and you want to feel comfortable. This is Chris Townsend, and you got to go check out my friends at Link Soul. They've got all the finest fabrics. You're going to love the shirts, the polos, the shorts, you name it. Redo your look for summertime. Go to linksoul.com right now, and you can get an offer for 20% off. Remember, in the big leagues, to play good, you got to look good.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer. Like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. and take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next special event. It's all for you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club, an award-winning venue designed to peacefully take you away from the bustle of Silicon Valley. Go to cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
Being a Chevron car these days has been quite the adventure. Miami to Seattle, ocean to ocean. I've stopped at so many states and collected so many bumper stickers. Sometimes I feel like a moving passport book. It's just so great what I can do with Chevron with Techron, because it gives me unbeatable mileage and keeps my engine clean. Plus, there are so many Chevrons along the way. Now the only thing I'm worried about is where to go next and where to put all my new bumper stickers. Chevron with Techron, fueled by possibility.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
And the underdogs, Oakland Athletics, win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, 3-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ for me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
Streaming from the studio, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
3 homestands left at the Coliseum. So you want to get, I've been telling everybody, you want to get out. Looking at the schedule. Going to have the Giants in town Saturday, Sunday. Plenty of seats available for the D-backs on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. It's a 4-game set. Then Milwaukee comes to town. And then after that, it's two.
D-backs or Rays?
I mean, what did I say? It's the Rays, then the Brewers. Second to the last homestand, Seattle, Detroit. Then the final homestand at the Coliseum, Yankees and the Red Sox.
Think we might have the Duke?
Hard to believe, but yeah, we only have 3 homestands left. Jim, are you there? Jim?
We'll try him again.
The great Jim Duquette. Yeah, I know a lot of people have been weighing in. And I know for like all of us, it's good to see that there are a lot of people who are reaching.
I'll get back to you as soon as
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wait, hold on. I think we have them. Let's see.
Jim, how are you?
Guys?
How are you?
How are you doing?
Excited. We got a lot to get into today. Obviously, the A's are in New York taking on the Mets.
Yes.
Are you going to be doing any Mets TV during this series?
I just did it for the last week, so I am not presently there, but I will be watching. I'll be bearing down on this series.
All right. By the way, Cody and I have been wondering, because on your work on Sirius XM, Power Alley show is incredible on Sundays. the show you do with Jim Bowden, as Dallas Braden once called it, Jim Squared. Bowden always calls it the award-winning front office show. I've never heard you call it that. What is the award? What is this big award he's always talking about?
We won an award. I think it's been almost a dozen years now, 10 years ago at least, I think. And I don't even remember the award that it was, but it was. And again, this is. We were up against terrestrial radio at the time. We were up against Mike and Mike, ESPN, and a couple of other like huge names in the industry, and somehow we won it. I don't know how, but we now, of course, everybody that doesn't have the award that works at Sirius, we have been slowly basically like being the jerk brother.
Yeah.
Hey, we got an award, you don't, and just every time now we ask them to introduce us as part of the award-winning front office show on Sundays, 10 a.m. Eastern, on Sirius XM channel 89. That's how they have to introduce us now.
Well, it is must,
and it pisses them off.
Yeah, it is must listen, because Sunday mornings, obviously, it's early here, and when you're driving up and you hear all of the front office people. You bring everybody on in baseball. It's important because it is tough now. I remember back. I used to do a Billy Bean show every single week. We have David Forst once or twice a month. Brian Sabian on Cambiari on the Giants flagship used to. It's like the front office guys don't talk as much as they used to.
They're boring. Those front office guys are boring. We try to get 2 or 3 each week. Lately, it's been 4. We had Andrew Friedman of the Dodgers on this weekend.
Yeah.
We had Thad Levine of the Twins. We had Alex Anthopoulos of the Braves on the previous. We had Craig Breslow on this past week of the Red Sox. Like it's been. We've had a pretty good run here as of late. But especially around the trade deadline, we need them, and they're willing to come down. Or in the wintertime, obviously, with the all the free agent stuff and the potential trade. So those are the times where we have the most of the time we have the decision makers on.
The word is risk. How much risk do front offices want to take these days? We call it hedge fund baseball all the time. We've addressed this with David Forst. Just how much, and I actually had a conversation a long time ago. It was great. It was Scott Boras and Billy Bean. Shintaro Fujinami had just signed. We were having the press conference. So we got to talk. And Billy Bean talked about one of the reasons why he wanted to get out of the day-to-day is like no one wants to do deals anymore. Now that you've watched front offices evolve, have you seen a great change in the way business is done and everybody is so worried about taking risks?
Yeah. Well, and so what would be the alternative to hedge fund baseball? That's basically no risk. Would it be bonds? The bonds baseball? Or, I don't know what the answer is on that one because, the mutual fund money market baseball. It's bad, but I think part of that problem is it's a market that there's so much copying going on, and they evaluate very similarly, in the way they kind of go about it analytically. And you kind of see that when it comes to the draft as well. You used to have, you'd rank your top 100 in the amateur draft, and the first round there might be guys that fall off of your top 100, but you're in your rounds 4, 5, 6. Usually the top 100 would get you through rounds 10. And now your top 100, ranking, you might not get through the second round because of the way they're analyzing similar players. So I think that's also a big part of it. Yeah. Are they risk averse? Yes. Are they willing to, we started to see this year in the draft. At the trade deadline, guys that were being traded that were drafted last year in 2023. So that's kind of been the trade-off. Like, okay, we're not going to give you that upper level prospect that has a chance to help us we'll give you the guy who just got into pro ball. And if he does get to the big leagues, there is some risk there, but you're also going to have to wait 3 years, before he helps you. So there's, I think there's been some trade-offs. I think also this year's market, I think Andrew Friedman said it the other day, was the weakest in terms of talent level that was available that any of us could remember in the last probably 20 years. So I think that was also a factor in why we didn't see as much. It wasn't as exciting, the trade market this year.
Looking at the A's and the Mets, first on the A's, at the deadline, actually for months, everybody's talking about Mason Miller and Rooker, and those are the names, even Andahar got thrown out there. As you know, all these years, from Billy Beane to David Forst, the A's do not stay bad for a long time. It's they win for a few years, then they don't, then they get it back. The fact that David Forst said, nope, we're sticking with the core guys here. Do you get the sense in the way the A's have been playing better now and what's coming that they're getting ready for another run?
Yeah, I do. I'm really more optimistic about the A's this year than I've been in the past few. You can see the path that they're trying to forge here. You can start to see the talent coming, both what's currently there and what's on the rise. So, yeah, I do think that, as difficult as it's been to watch sometimes this year, you've definitely seen a market improvement. And, yeah, I think that's the exciting part is, and I was not surprised, by the way, that Mason Miller wasn't traded. Not everyone, a lot of people were suggesting they should trade him and they will trade him. I never thought for 1 second they would trade him, especially if there was a chance he was going to be either, rookie of the year or runner-up because they could get a draft pick out of it. So, because that's how they handle the rookie status for Mason Miller. He still has his rookie status. So I wasn't believing any of that. I really didn't believe they were going to move Rooker either.
All right. When you look at the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves, what shocks you more from the start of the season where the Mets are paying guys to play other places, that the Mets are only a game back in the wild card race, or does it shock you more the Braves have fallen all the way down to the Mets?
I think it's the Braves by far. That's the thing that's been more stunning, especially during this streak. I mean, they lost 7 in a row, then they won a couple, then they've lost 3 or 4. Then they lost 3 more, and then they won last night. It was a 1-0 game against the Giants, as you know. So, and that was a hell of an effort by Chris Sale, and they had to win it in 10 to win the ball game. It's been really, really tough for the Braves to score runs. And even the game that they lost to Colorado the other day, you can throw, it was a Coors Field loss, but they were up 8-2 in the 8th. 8-2 in the 8th. I can't remember the last time the Atlanta Braves lost a game like that. They coughed up 7 runs. So and it's just been bad baseball. I'm not used to seeing Atlanta play that poorly. I think the Mets have really, in my opinion, outkicked their coverage, outkicked their roster quality, and they've had, I think their pitching coach Jeremy Hefner, who's underrated in the sport, has done a terrific job getting Sean Manaea to pitch, better than expected, and Luis Severino having a really good season, and Jose Quintana has been pitching very well, and David Peterson, all these guys that you're like, who are these guys that 1 year, they're all on 1 year deals for the most part, and they're pitching way better than I would imagine. They helped kind of keep this bullpen intact when they were struggling early on, and it's been very good over the last month and a half. So yeah, they're playing better. I don't think they're going to have enough to hang in there. Their offense is starting to slide right now. But, we'll see. They have this series against Oakland. They have a series against Miami before the Orioles come in. So, I know their hope is to try to win 4 of the next 6 before they play the Orioles next week.
Yeah, I'm so curious. David Stearns brought back home now to run the Mets. You got some big decisions coming up. I'm a little bit shocked where they are right now. But with the polar bear, how do you think David Stearns, you've been following this, you're around it, you're evaluating him. How do you think the Mets are going to go forward? Speaking of hedge fund baseball and a hedge fund owner, how do you think the Mets are they going to be wheeling and dealing? Are they going to still trying to build? How do you see David Stearns building this thing, especially with a guy like Pete Alonso going to be a free agent?
Yeah, so if there's a free agent they want, they're gonna go hard after him. Now, I think Alonso wants to be there. I also think his so far his expectations are extremely high, and and he is not having the type of season that he's had in the past. So he's going to fall short of 40 homers. Yes, he made the All-Star team, but offensively, if you look at his numbers, they're below what we're accustomed seeing from him. And I think if you gave him some truth serum, he would say the same thing. But yeah, so I wonder what he's going to get out there in the market. There's going to be some good first basemen like Christian Walker, Rhys Hoskins. They would be good fits too. So it's always about supply and demand there. In the end, I think Pete and the Mets, they're better. It's a better marriage than them bringing in somebody that they don't know and whether he can handle New York or not. Now Christian Walker's from New Jersey, I think, so he might fit perfectly there. But I think it's going to be, as always, what does Pete want to take? Maybe less than what he originally thought he was going to get to stay a Met. And I think the Mets, it'd be hard for them to pass on him if the price tag came down to, I don't know, $100 million, somewhere in that range, which I think is more realistic of where his number might be based off of his season this year.
All right, let's end on this and let's stick with the stock market theme here. You got 3 stocks. One's more expensive, 2 are less expensive, but they could really pay out for you. If you had to buy stock in the Dodgers, the Padres, or the Diamondbacks, you only get to buy one stock. You're trying to make a lot of money here because you got gypped out all that money from the Mets years ago. Who you buying stock in?
You trying to get me to tell you who's the NVIDIA of the baseball season this year? I'm going to say.
I'm trying to get you those Gucci loafers back.
What is it, like 8 billion% on your money if you invested in it 4 years ago? I'm going to go the Diamondbacks. I've been talking about them for over a month now. If they could just get healthy, with their staff, and they were missing 4/5 of the rotation. Now they're back. Now they've had their position players injured. Unfortunately, we'll see what happens. But I didn't see anything on Marte yet. He left the game last night with an ankle. Christian Walker's been out for a bit. Moreno, their catcher's been out. But I like that team a lot based off of where they were last year, and I think they're a very complete team. And I like those other teams too, by the way. But I think if again in this scenario, and by comparison, I'll take the Diamondbacks.
I don't know what you're more proud of, the award you won with Jim Bowden or the fact that you got to carry Mike Farron 5 days a week. It's a tough call.
It is a heavy lift, Chris. As you know, you listen to it. It's a heavy lift. I probably deserve a second award just for doing that.
I've been to that barbecue at his house. It's a very heavy lift.
Yeah. Well, hey, he gets an award for the barbecue that he makes, but that's that you weren't asking me about that. You were asking me about our show.
I said to him, I said, I've never seen anybody that has more smokers and barbecues than pets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, this is a multitasker to the extreme, right? He's got 3 grills, and I swear that he's going to buy a 4th during the holidays this year. For what? I don't know.
You are the best, my friend. We always appreciate the time. Be well, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good. Good. Talk to you soon, buddy. Bye.
Jim Duquette, the award-winning.
Well, now we got clarity on it.
So now we know they're just sticking it to.
Oh, come on! It was 10 years ago.
No, they're sticking the other guys. I love it because you could see Bowden as the type of guy who is. Bowden doesn't have a problem talking trash to his fellow SiriusXM employees.
Oh no, he goes out.
I kind of appreciate now that we know that when you're if you don't have SiriusXM, you should. I do. You do. I mean, baseball 89, football 88, all the different music, whatever you want.
Don't come on, NASCAR.
The NASCAR guy, still don't know his name is. He's the greatest radio
Paul Moody
host.
or something, the godfather of NASCAR. He's on like right now. He's always mad about something. Actually, it'd be great to hear what he had to say about the Major League Baseball being at Bristol Motor Speedway, which we can get to that. Maybe we need to book him for that. there's our chance to have him on. We can have him come on and hoot and holler and yell, talking about the baseball game in Tennessee next year. There's our end.
Was he fired up about that?
I don't know. Saying we can ask him about it because
that's the perfect time to have him on.
Yeah,
You're
that's what
right.
I'm saying.
You're right. And then we got to figure out. We're gonna have to take some notes on like who's good in NASCAR. We got to have some.
Oh, there's a big feud over the weekend with Joey Logano and another racer.
Who?
Yeah, I see the stuff. ESPN sends me notifications about all sports.
I mean, every day, the Godfather, every day he's mad about something. Every day there's a controversy. I'll tell you right now, NASCAR's got to figure it out. Because if Darlington's got blah, 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 then the next week, Talladega, and there's always a pit crew. There's always a ruling. They have more.
Dave the Godfather Moody is his name.
Dave the Godfather Moody. Folks, he is one of the most talented hosts I've ever heard in my life, and I know nothing about NASCAR. He's interesting, and I don't even know what he's talking about. That's when you're a really good host.
Yes. So I was going to look him up on Twitter, then I saw some A's news. Good news.
You're going to tell me Jacob Wilson is bigger than the Godfather?
Unfortunately, sorry.
This guy's
Dave
got
Moody.
great ratings.
I'm sure he does.
All right. I got to get back to him.
According to Martin Gallegos, who covers the team for MLB.com on X about 40 minutes ago, A's number one prospect Jacob Wilson will head to Las Vegas to work out with the team later this week and could begin a rehab assignment with AAA as early as Saturday. So you're saying he could be back before the end of our homestand?
Drop the number one prospect. A's shortstop, Jacob Wilson.
Still a prospect. He's played one game.
God.
He's played 2 innings.
Stop. It's prospect.
Mason Miller is still he was a prospect coming into the season.
Well, is he still in the pride? No, there's no.
Not anymore. No, I think he surpassed his rookie status. That's great news.
So he's going to go to AZ.
No, he's going to head to Vegas to work out with the team.
Oh, so he's going to work out and then get activated Saturday if everything goes to plan.
And could begin to rehab as early as Saturday with AAA.
Okay, looking at the whole schedule.
We're home next week.
Saturday. I mean, he could be back. He could be back for the homestand. I mean, how many games is he going to be down there?
Doesn't say, but you figured he'd probably be at least a couple. Well, if he came
back
back
by Milwaukee on the 23rd.
Well, remember, if he plays Saturday, Sunday, they're off Monday. Perfect day to fly him to Oakland.
Wait, what?
Remember, they don't play games on Mondays, so he'd play Saturday, Sunday in Vegas. Then off day Monday. I guess
I think they're going to be I think they're going to be very conservative and I'm not rushing him because he's had some injury deals, right? I would make sure he is ready to rock before he comes here and we say, all right, you're playing a lot. I want him to play a lot. You know, this isn't like basketball where, we're going to get him 10 minutes. I mean, he's going to play. I want to be able to play 9 innings. Right?
Yes. Because you want to see what you got from him going forward.
He's not going to play full games yet in Vegas on Saturday and Sunday. Yes, there's the day off. I mean, I got to see. It may be not till the road trip when they head to Cincinnati.
I'm going to look and see where the Aviators go after this weekend.
But he's got to be able to show up here and play 9 innings.
Aviators.
And you feel good about it.
Aviators are at home against Oklahoma City, and then they go to Reno after that.
Biggest little city in the world. All right, that is good news because we want to see him. We want to see it. We want him. Nothing has overwhelmed this kid. I'd like to see him come up and just be spraying base hits all over. Just give me something to go into the offseason all fired up about.
Well, more A's news.
Oh, your guy Strip, huh?
Rossi. According to Martin Gallegos on X, formerly known as Twitter, Mark Kotsay said Ross Stripling will move into a long relief role. As an organization right now, we're looking at these young starters as potential pieces for the future. For Ross to accept that role and go down there as a pro, I respect what he's doing and what he's done.
What says Ross Stripling out of the bullpen is a good thing? I understand what Kotsay has to say. Where's Hogan Harris? Now, I get from the business side of it and from you want Hogan Harris starting.
Yes, and I think
But you're not bringing in Ross Stripling unless it's a game that's not. You're down in runs and you need innings. Otherwise, that's where Ross Stripling is at 11 point whatever. I don't even know what he makes. Was it 11 million?
It was 12, but I think the Giants were paying 3, so I think we were paying him 9, something like that. I could be wrong, but it was somewhere around
$9 million at this point to be a mop-up guy. Yikes!
There was a very bad note in there in the MLB notes today about Ross Stripling today too. He was trying to avoid because he was slated to start, but it was TBD for a while. Then we found out it was Joe Boyle. He would be the 4th pitcher this year to lose 12 games, joining Dakota Hudson. Oh, don't tell me Dakota Hudson. Why am I drawing a blank on the other guys? It was Hudson. Patrick Corbin. And I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on the last guy.
Andrew Heaney. A's have lost 6 of Stripling's last 7 starts. He had posted a 7.59 ERA and just 13 strikeouts, 8 walks in 32 innings. So the guy you're sending to the bullpen where you want guys to come out and strike people out.
And throw hard, yes.
Has only 13 strikeouts in 32 innings. Now, you ate the money with the Letmus Diaz. Why not eat the money with Strip?
Someone mentioned to me, well, maybe if we keep the theme of letting go of opening day starters, someone said Alex Wood to me. I'm like, he's injured, so you really wouldn't be doing anything if you got rid of his money anyway. He's not pitching. But yeah, Strip, I agree with you. I thought for a while when he wasn't named a starter that something was going to happen. Like maybe he was going to be outratted or DFA'd because the waiver period's coming up.
Well, maybe and let's face it, Joe Boyle tonight will be oh God, how's it going to work? Right? Because Joe Boyle can come out and blow everybody away, or Joe Boyle could come out and hit Grimace in the stands, right? we don't know.
Yeah, I think
my resident road scout, which is Road Trip Mike, has said he's looked good because Road Trip saw him pitch. Numbers look good. But until you actually see it with your own eyes, it scares the you-know-what out of you.
He's 1-0 with a 1.96 ERA over his last 5 games dating back to July 11th with Fran Reardon and the Aviators.
I mean, he's got to come up here and look like the guy at the end of last year and look like the guy that we saw at spring training. Remember we talked to him at spring training? He'd harnessed everything, right? Like, I got to figure it out. My release point, my feel, what I'm confident in. That's what he told us. And we believed it. And then all of a sudden, season starts, and he's all over the place where he has no feel. I mean, I did see one game in spring. I was calling it with Johnny where he threw 2 fastballs over everybody's head and he had to just start throwing sliders because it was the only thing that he controlled. He got out of the inning. And I remember that night talking to Emo about it because Emo was at I want to say he was at not Camelback. What's where the D-backs?
So that's Saltwater.
Or
Salt River, sorry.
And
Saltwater.
Salt River, Salt Creek.
Salt River.
River Ryan, by the way, who
Tommy John.
I wondered why he was named River, not Stream Creek for the Dodgers. Is he officially Tommy John?
That's what I thought I saw was Tommy John. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, we never got to. How much time do we got?
About 15 minutes or so. Yep. Undergo season-ending Tommy John surgery. Wow. 17 starters they've used. Well, so is Milwaukee, both in first place, which is they're outliers.
The amount of Tommy John surgeries, the numbers.
Oh, the thing I sent you the other day.
You sent me something the other day. It is so crazy.
There's something like there's been more Tommy Johns in the 2023 season than there were in the 90s or something like that.
since like 1992 to what? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
In 2023, there were more Tommy John surgeries among professional pitchers than in the entire decade of the 90s.
I mean, does no one find that crazy?
It's a little.
Not talking kids, which it's so out of control of kids. A decade, 10 years. We have seen more Tommy Johns in 2023 than an entire decade. And you're trying to tell me the chase of velocity and spin is still something we're going to do, even though we have all this proof that it leads to mass injury. And it leads to a major surgery. It leads to a lost year and can lead to a lost career. We're going to still chase everything. We're still going to chase velocity and spin. Not saying I wouldn't throw it as hard, but the way they're going about training, they can't keep these guys healthy. Clearly, I don't care what anyone would say at this point. Could there be anybody, drive line, whoever? There's all kinds of the throw ranch in Texas. I mean, there's all kinds of these places. They can sit here and talk to you till they're blue in the face. Would you really believe anything that they say at this point when they say, oh, what we're doing is actually really helping the players? You're helping them throw harder. You're helping them spin it more. But clearly, you are leading them down the path to surgery. Is there anything you could say when you go, well, I'm looking at 2023 and there's more Tommy John surgeries in 365 days than there was in a decade?
I just looked it up because you can, if you Google
before, by the way, the drive lines, throw ranches, all these different throw tanks, and even all the teams have their throw tanks, and everybody's got their opinions and their data and their workout methods. No one had this in the 90s. 1 year with all this stuff, we're supposedly we're making them better. We're hurting these guys. And in 1 year, you had more major surgeries than an entire decade.
Which is incredible, because if you go on this look, you can Google search like Tommy John surgeries 2024, and someone made it an Excel or a Google spreadsheet of all the Tommy John surgeries. And I looked just from the start of the season to now, I counted around 45-ish Tommy John surgeries. I think that's just professional level, like Major League Baseball, because there's 3 A's on there. There's Trevor Gott, Waldo Chuck, and Luis Medina, who just had his like a week ago almost. Yeah, about it was the 6th, a week ago. So remember, we wanted to track that. So 12 months will be next August, so we won't see him back until the 2026.
How is that not alarming? How is that not? And I guarantee you, if we went out to every ballpark, they're going to have the different weighted plyo balls. They're going to have all this stuff. And you're just looking out going, you're increasing your odds. Kind of like the steroid era, right? You take steroids, crazy things can happen inside your body. Ask Jason Giambi. There's risk. Talk about risk. This is a form of risk as a player by truly trying to take your body to a place that it's not built to go. Yes, there could be high money reward in it. And there also could be Tommy John surgery. I mean, we used to have guys who were great pitchers, threw a lot of innings, threw pretty hard. 94 used to be hard. Guys had great careers. But now this quest to take the body where it's never gone before. It's basically you're hurting yourselves. It's record amount. I mean, it's amazing. They act like they're so smart, and they act like all this stuff that we're doing, and yet you have record amounts of surgery. You'll see these kids going up to places like Driveline where they're on these artificial mounds in cages, throwing as hard as they can. Every single time they throw, they look up at the gun because all they care about is the gun. Yeah, I went to Driveline and I increased 5 miles an hour. It's like, well, you're not doing anything to learn how to get people out. All you're doing is you're just accelerating your time for Tommy John surgery.
A good example of a guy that didn't throw really hard, went to Driveline, started throwing a little harder, and he's having Tommy John or had Tommy John. Shane Bieber. Bieber was the guy that went there.
First start was against the A's. Remember that? Oh, Bieber looks great. Look, he went to Driveline.
A few starts later, he's done for the year. Sean Manaea went to Driveline. Now, he hasn't had Tommy John, but he's another guy that's been there, and his velocity went up. But guys like Bieber who went there and they went through it, he's having Tommy John. Like, the only guy that we can think of recently that has never had a Tommy John surgery or a major arm injury, knock on wood so far, has been Garrett Cole.
Whoa.
I know he's had the issue now.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was on the shelf with an elbow.
But
this year,
prior to this year, he's like the only guy you could think of that like never like Scherzer had.
He had the PRP injection into his elbow this year, which means if that didn't work, you go to Tommy John.
I could still see him having it, to be honest.
I just hate the fact that this is where our game has gone, right? That we cannot literally, you guys can all be like Paul Skeens. I mean,
that doesn't even include River Ryan, so it'd be like 46 then.
I mean, how can you get excited? It's like, it's so funny when fans get super excited about a guy throwing super hard. Look at Mason Miller. Mason Miller is surviving as a closer. As a starter, could not stay healthy. That's why I always compare him to Jason Isringhausen. He just cannot stay healthy. They figured out a way to manage his load and keep him healthy for now. How long that lasts, I have no idea.
Again, knock on wood, he's been healthy all year, besides the pinky.
But aren't all these guys, as much as I mean, I understand fans get excited, but aren't all these guys, you're like one outing away from he's gone for, it's over a year now. It's 14 months. And 14 months, that doesn't mean he's back in the rotation every 5 days. That's 14 months throwing, throw to hitters. I mean, it's a year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah, like DeGrom's the most recent one where he had the Tommy
Where's
John.
DeGrom?
He just started throwing to hitters last week. So, I mean, he might not be back until the end of August, early September. Well, the Rangers,
August? Dude.
It's a couple weeks.
It's the 13th. He's throwing to hitters. You're telling me a guy coming off Tommy John hasn't thrown in a game? He's going to be
I was thinking about actually throwing in minor league games and like by the end of August.
He's throwing to hitters now? So basically he missed 2 years.
Yeah, let me see if there's any updates on him. Jacob DeGrom. Because the Rangers are, they're pretty much out of here.
They're not going to rush him back.
There's no point. There's no reason. There's a Twitter account. Is Jacob DeGrom hurt? Was throwing live BP earlier. His first pitch was 99. So he's throwing live BP. It looks like he was doing it at Fenway because the Rangers are there. This was yesterday. Yeah. So who knows when he'll be back? Could be back by the end of the year. I mean, I'm not going to bank on it.
Just shelve him.
Yeah. What's the point? The Rangers are pretty much out of it. You said happy trails to Bruce Bochy. So.
God, it's like you can't. I mean, remember when a young guy came, like a Dwight Gooden came up, and it was just like, oh, my God, this guy's so electric. Now, like, he comes up and you go, when's he going to get hurt? When's the arm going to go? And then you got to go through Tommy John. I mean, who's had a long career now? What young pitcher are we looking at that we're going to say is going to have a long career and not dominant greatness? Who? Where's the Pedro Martinez of today? I mean, Roger Clemens did now. I know everybody thinks that Roger Clemens is a steroid guy, but before we think Roger, I mean, he had a long body of work as a power pitcher, right? Randy Johnson had a long, Nolan Ryan. These guys that are true power pitchers had where you're like every year, this guy's giving me 250. Now I know I'm not going Old Man River 200, but 200, 180. And you're going to be a power pitcher, and you're there every year. I mean, the Mariners are starting to put it out. But Chris Sale, look how good Chris Sale went through surgery.
He's been great this year. It's crazy he's never won a Cy Young either. He's finished second a bunch. If you're looking at a guy, I mean, besides Cole and Verlander, and those guys are older now. If you're looking at
Cole and Verlander, I mean, these guys are old.
Younger guys.
And
Can't say Strider because he's had Tommy John. Can't say Sandy Alcantara because he had Tommy John. I'm just going to my head to young guys, and it's a matter of time. I hate to say it's probably a matter of time till Hunter Green from the Reds has it because he's throwing 103.
I think he's already. Didn't he have it in high school?
Oh, so then never mind. Then I'm thinking looking at guys in the big leagues to have it. Skeens hasn't pitched enough to throw him in there. So yeah,
he'll be a great case. How long?
Yeah.
How long? Maybe Skeens is different, or maybe he falls in line with everybody else.
Like everyone talked about Jared Jones, the other guy the Pirates have who throws hard. He's been out for the last few months because of arm issues. So if you're looking around the league, there has been. I mean, you're right. Seattle's been a good case study of how they've been able to keep their guys relatively healthy, except for Brian Wu. He's been hurt for a lot of the season, but the other guys, Miller, Logan Gilbert, Castillo, they've all been relatively healthy. But it's been few and far between.
Castillo would have logged a ton of innings in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But Kirby, Kirby
too.
I don't know. Gilbert and Kirby have never had it. Is that correct? I don't know, though. So I don't want to be like saying, hey, at least the guys in Seattle, but they may have had it too. Now you don't know if a guy had it in college, guy had it in high school. I mean, it's just, it's.
Looking to see. I know Tarek Skubal had it before, who's pitching against Kirby
Skubal's
tonight.
had it?
Yeah.
When?
I think when he was in either high school or college.
Oh, God. I would never even thought Skubal. He has the best ERA, doesn't he, out of any of the qualifying starting pitchers?
I think so, yeah. I'm looking for current. I'm just going to look and see if I can find. No, it's Ken Giles. So, no, it doesn't look like Kirby's had it yet.
All right, so I guess you can look at some of the Seattle guys, but it's crazy. It's like the whole Houston Astros pitching staff has gone down in the last couple of years. It's just sad. It's sad because the whole art of pitching. I don't want pitching to be like running backs, turn and burn. Let's get them, let's use them up, and they're going to get hurt, and then we go to the next guy. Because you get what we have now. Record amounts of pitchers. By the way, have you kept the tab on the amount of pitchers we have this year in baseball?
Yes. This pitchers overall?
Yes.
I think I updated it today. We're like 771.
771, and we're in mid-August.
771. The league average right now is 26 pitchers used per team. And if you look at the starting pitchers,
think about the 40-man roster. How much you're just like having to juggle the 40-man roster just because of pitchers.
And then the starting pitchers, still the most is the Dodgers and Brewers at 17. And the Padres have only used 8, so they have the lowest.
Well, they're up, but the Padres are at 7.
Yeah.
Well, we get it to every single team uses at least 10 starters. So it's Padres and Mariners.
Sorry, the Mariners are at 7. The Padres are now at 8. Padres, Twins, Yankees are at 8. Mariners are at 7.
Well, you can have a terrible offense, and you could be winning your division because of pitching like the Seattle Mariners. They're a half game back, long way to go. What time do we got to be out?
A couple minutes still. Yeah. Dodgers, Milwaukee, 17. Next closest, the worst team maybe ever, the White Sox at 15.
Hey, how about Grady Sizemore and the White Sox taking down the Yankees last night in the Southsider uniforms?
I believe if I saw right on Twitter, Jay Kuda does a great job putting any negative or positive White Sox news. The only team the White Sox beat by double digits this year, I believe, is the Yankees.
Yankees, by the way, the best road team in baseball. White Sox took him down.
Luis Hill, remember how great he was supposed to be?
Grady Sizemore, leader of men.
Well, they already told him he's not going to be the manager next year, so he's looking for a job.
What if they start winning?
Diamondbacks intern last year.
What if they start winning? Things can change really quick on that.
I still think they could. I'm not going to discount that, but I feel like Chris Getz really wants Skip Schumacher. Because the Marlins are letting him go. I mean, they're not picked up his option.
What about A.J. Pierzynski?
Skip Schumacher will be a great manager there.
What about A.J. Foul? How will foul territory survive without A.J. Pierzynski?
It's a good question. I saw Gordon Beckham.
Has foul territory had Shang Tao, the mayor of Oakland, on again lately?
I haven't checked. I haven't followed.
I follow them all. I haven't seen. So what I follow, I haven't seen.
Not that I've seen.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, I'm looking forward to this because let's remember the A's have the best record in the American League since July 1st. The A's in 8 series, 6-1-1. 6-1-1. A nice feather in the cap. Remember, 50 wins right now. The A's are 50-69, won 50 all of last year. Everything else from here, my friend, is gravy. Anything else from now is an improvement.
I really thought Johnny's hot take would be, bro, the A's are going to win more games this year than they did last year.
Well, I mean, do you get to 60? Do you get to 65? Can you get on a hot streak and finish at 70?
They're not going to get there this year, but I heard Vince say it on the broadcast today. The biggest, and we talked about it before, the biggest turnaround from year to year was Arizona with 35 wins.
How many games are left?
43. So we'd have to go essentially.
What if they went 43-0?
That'd be an incredible story. It'd be the reverse White Sox.
There you go.
Just go 35-8.
All right, A's baseball coming your way. We're back tomorrow. By the way, phenomenal show today. The guest, unbelievable. Johnny,
bro.
I think my Happy Trails take was the best take of them all.
Are you kidding me, bro?
Play a little Happy Trails on the way.
Happy Trails. We never even played the best part. We'll play tomorrow from you.
Bye-bye, Bruce Bochy. This is it. That's my hot take. It's all over. Let it go. Roy Rogers. Who's the female voice?
We looked at it before we came on, too, and I forget now.
Lou Temple, actor. You got to believe this. Is he also like a producer on the film? Or?
I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look.
You're a good producer. Adnan Virk. You saw him for years on ESPN, now MLB Network. And Jim Duquette, former general manager, now does television for the Mets. And you hear him every day, Monday through Friday, on the Power Alley, Sirius XM MLB channel on Sundays. The award-winning front office show.
It is award-winning. We'll save the Meet the Mets thing for tomorrow. We got
I close?
Well, here you go. We got a minute or two.
Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life.
Okay.
Great. That's such a good jingle.
So I tried doing it.
Here's my problem. I just realized it's two. Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. I think I only did one.
Well, let's see. I
right.
mixed it with the music underneath.
Meet the Mets. Greet the Mets. Step right up and whatever the Mets. Bring your kiddies. Bring the wife.
So
I had it right.
It's
just there's two. Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets.
Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets.
Meet the Mets. Greet the Mets. I went to greet. Step right up and whatever the Mets. Bring your kiddies. Bring the wife. That's not a sexist song. Hey, men, you can bring your wife and your kids to the game. You think that flies in today's world?
I just love the something else.
Yeah. Because I went meet the Mets, greet the Mets, step right up. I had it right. I just missed that it's to meet the Mets right out of the gate.
Maybe we'll have to record a duet of doing it before the series is over.
Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. I do miss those old kind of jingle songs, right? Baseball had songs. Remember when baseball had songs, not nerds in the front office?
There's that. There's the Cubs. Go Cubs, go.
Oh, my God. Are you okay with all the nerds that got fired in Miami? And remember, when I call them nerds, it's because Eno Saris told us we could call them nerds. Our baseball resident nerd / national columnist over at the Athletic.
They moved off all the nerds, but they didn't move off of the guy that's going to be their manager next year. I'll tell you that. Cappy. God, if he gets hired again.
That's how bad some things can be in certain markets, to where you have a year like you're having with the Marlins. You bring in Peter Bendix,
former Rays guy. Yeah.
You bring in the Rays guy to run the Marlins, and you're in August and you're getting rid of 2 assistant GMs.
And you were a team that was in the postseason last year.
I mean, what are we doing?
Fair question.
Like, seriously, what are we doing? All right, coming up next, Citi Field. It's the A's. It's the Mets. Grimace, you're going down next right here on A's Cast and the A's Radio Network. Meet the Mets, greet the Mets, step right up and whatever the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring the wife.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, step up to the plate with Xfinity Internet. Get the fastest speeds and low-lag streaming for an incredible viewing experience that knocks it out of the park. And you'll have a consistent connection with reduced buffering and freezing, so you can stay in all the action inning after inning. When it's game time, make sure to catch it all with internet that's powerful and reliable. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity, because it's only live once. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Many factors affect speed. For factors affecting speed, visit Xfinity.com/network management.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
This has been a presentation of the Oakland Athletics.